Sometimes, life takes us places we never saw coming. It all started with a light in the sky. A light that kept getting closer and closer until it crashed right in front of me. Yeah. A spaceship. But not just any spaceship. Its pilot wasn't from our world. And from that moment on, everything changed for me, and for everyone around me. My name is Izuku Midoriya. And this is a brand new chapter in my life. Welcome to the final part. Chapter 11, Trials and Tribulations. The derelict station loomed, a skeletal behemoth against the inky blackness of space. Its silence was more terrifying than any alarm, a stark contrast to the frenetic energy that had pulsed through the Stardust Wanderer just hours before. As they approached, the harmonizer's whispers intensified, no longer subtle suggestions but a deafening roar that resonated within their very bones, a palpable threat that vibrated in the air itself. The initial approach was fraught with peril. Temporal distortions, previously manageable thanks to Jax's expertise, became increasingly erratic. The ship lurched violently, throwing the crew against the walls. Anya, her face pale but determined, fought to maintain control, her knuckles white as she gripped the controls. The Luminians, even with their advanced technology, seemed visibly strained, their usually graceful movements punctuated by sudden, sharp adjustments. One particularly violent tremor sent a tremor through the ship, causing a cascade of sparks to erupt from a damaged panel. Before anyone could react, a section of the hull began to buckle, revealing a gaping hole that threatened to suck the air out of the ship. Kai, ever the pragmatist, immediately sprang into action, coordinating the damage control efforts. His calm, reassuring voice cut through the panic, directing the human and Luminians crew members to seal the breach. The coordinated effort was a testament to the bond they had forged during their perilous journey. The initial cultural differences had melted away, replaced by a shared understanding of survival. Human ingenuity and Luminians' advanced technology combined seamlessly, effectively patching the hole and securing the damaged section. Their next obstacle was far more insidious. As they maneuvered closer to the station, they encountered a swarm of space pirates, attracted by the advanced technology of the Aurora. These weren't the typical opportunistic scavengers. These pirates were organized, well-armed, and clearly aware of the station's significance. Their ships, though less technologically advanced than the Aurora, were numerous and aggressive, swarming the Stardust Wanderer and the Aurora like angry wasps. Zara, with her strategic brilliance, orchestrated a masterful defense. Using a combination of Luminians' energy shields and human tactical maneuvers, they managed to fend off the initial attack, their combined firepower pushing back the pirates. The battle raged for what seemed like an eternity, laser fire crisscrossing the void, the ships maneuvering in a chaotic ballet of destruction and survival. Anya piloted the Stardust Wanderer with breathtaking skill, dodging enemy fire with precision and grace. Kai, meanwhile, coordinated the defensive measures, ensuring a synchronized and effective response from both crews. The Luminians' superior technology gave them an edge, but it was the humans' grit and determination that ultimately turned the tide. They fought with a ferocity born of desperation, fueled by their determination to protect their world and secure the future. The pirate attack left them battered but not broken. The Stardust Wanderer sustained significant damage, requiring extensive repairs. The battle highlighted the crucial role played by both crews in the survival. The Luminians' technological prowess proved invaluable in repelling the assault, but the humans' adaptability and courage ensured their ultimate victory. The battle cemented their alliance, a testament to the power of collaboration in the face of overwhelming odds. Having overcome the pirates, they faced a new challenge, navigating the station's complex and treacherous interior. The derelict station was a labyrinth of decaying corridors, rusted machinery, and unstable structures. The temporal distortions inside were even more pronounced, creating shifting realities and unpredictable spatial anomalies. Theron's knowledge of ancient languages and cryptic symbols became critical as they deciphered cryptic clues hidden within the station's walls, guiding them through the maze-like structure. The station's interior was a monument to a lost civilization, its opulent past now a decaying testament to a forgotten era. Ancient murals depicting a technologically advanced society adorned the walls, telling a silent story of a civilization that had mastered temporal manipulation but ultimately fell victim to its own ambition. The advanced technology, even in its ruined state, spoke of incredible power. They discovered ancient laboratories that once held technology far surpassing anything known to the present day. But this advanced technology was unstable, fraught with dangers. Their exploration led them to hidden chambers, revealing more about the harmonizer and its origins. They discovered that the harmonizer was not merely a device, it was a sentient being, a being of immense power and immense darkness, which had once served as the heart of this lost civilization. They found evidence that suggested the civilization had attempted to harness the harmonizer's power, leading to catastrophic consequences. The station itself was a monument to their failure, a testament to the dangers of unchecked ambition. As they delved deeper into the station, they were constantly confronted with environmental hazards. The decaying structures were unstable, collapsing sections posing a constant threat. The temporal distortions caused sections of the station to vanish and reappear, creating sudden drops and unpredictable changes in the environment. Hidden traps, ancient defensive mechanisms left behind by the station's original inhabitants, further threatened their progress. The most challenging obstacle came unexpectedly. Deep within the station's core, they discovered a massive energy field, a relic of the civilization's attempts to control the harmonizer. This field was highly unstable, radiating dangerous energy that threatened to overload their protective shields. They had to navigate the field carefully, their very survival dependent on their ability to maintain a delicate balance between moving through the field safely and avoiding the radiation that threatened to obliterate them. The Luminians' advanced sensors provided vital information about the field's fluctuations and enabled them to find a narrow corridor through the field's most dangerous sections. But navigating this corridor required split-second precision and perfect teamwork. Any mistake, any hesitation, would have been fatal. They proceeded slowly, carefully and methodically, relying on their training, their technology, and most importantly, on each other. The journey through the energy field was a grueling test, both physically and mentally exhausting. The constant threat of death pushed them to their limits. But, as they had done countless times before, they overcame these obstacles through combined strength and unwavering determination, the strength born from a shared purpose and the trust forged in the face of death. The final passage through the unstable energy field was a testament to the human spirit's resilience, a powerful demonstration of the power of collaboration in the face of extreme adversity. Emerging from the field, they were shaken but unharmed, their spirits unbroken, their resolve stronger than ever. Reaching the heart of the station, they prepared to face the harmonizer, the source of the darkness that threatened their worlds. The journey to this point had been perilous, testing their skills, their resilience, and their bond. But it was a journey that had forged them into a stronger, more unified force. They were ready. The air hung heavy with anticipation, the silence punctuated only by the rhythmic hum of the Stardust Wanderer's life support systems. They stood at the threshold of the harmonizer's chamber, a vast, circular space dominated by a swirling vortex of iridescent energy. The journey had been arduous, a relentless gauntlet of physical and mental challenges. Yet, the true test, it seemed, lay not in the dangers they had already overcome, but in the tensions simmering beneath the surface of their fragile alliance. The first crack appeared in their carefully constructed unity during a tense debate over the next course of action. Kai, ever the pragmatist, advocated for a cautious, methodical approach. He proposed a detailed reconnaissance of the chamber, utilizing the Luminians' advanced sensors to map the energy field and identify potential dangers before making any direct contact with the harmonizer. His plan emphasized minimizing risk and maximizing their chances of success. Zara, however, bristled at his cautious proposal. Her sharp eyes, usually so full of strategic brilliance, now held a spark of impatience. "We've spent weeks navigating this death trap," she argued, her voice tight with frustration. "Every moment we hesitate increases the risk. The harmonizer is a threat to both our worlds. We need to act decisively, not tiptoe around it." Her words carried the weight of her people's desperation, their world teetering on the brink of annihilation. The urgency in her voice resonated with Anya, who shared her sense of time running out. Their differing opinions ignited a heated exchange, escalating from a calm disagreement into a full-blown argument. Anya, caught between her loyalty to Kai's calm leadership and Zara's passionate urgency, felt the pressure mounting. She tried to mediate, to find a compromise that would satisfy both sides, but the gulf between their perspectives seemed insurmountable. The Luminians, usually so stoic and reserved, watched the unfolding drama with a mixture of concern and apprehension. Their serene composure was subtly disturbed by the intensity of the human conflict. Theron, usually a quiet observer, surprised everyone by breaking the deadlock. His usually soft voice carried an unexpected weight of authority. "Both perspectives have merit," he stated calmly, his words measured and deliberate. "Kai's caution is born from a deep understanding of the potential dangers. Zara's urgency stems from a profound empathy for her people. Our success will hinge on our ability to bridge this gap, not by choosing one side over the other, but by embracing both." His intervention prompted a moment of quiet reflection. The intensity of their argument subsided, replaced by a sobering awareness of their shared predicament. They were not just a team, they were a family, bound together by a shared purpose and a common enemy. The realization of their interdependence broke through the heated tension. The following hours were spent in a collaborative effort, a testament to their newly found understanding. Kai's methodical approach provided a solid foundation, while Zara's insights and strategic intuition refined the plan, creating a balance between caution and decisiveness. They meticulously mapped the energy field, identifying safe passages and potential hazards, preparing for every contingency. The Luminian's technology provided crucial data, revealing intricate details about the harmonizer's energy signature and predicting its potential fluctuations. The detailed reconnaissance offered by Kai's proposal was ultimately integrated with Zara's tactical approach, achieving a far more effective strategy than either would have accomplished alone. The reconciliation, however, was not without its lingering effects. A subtle tension remained between Kai and Zara, a silent acknowledgement of their differing approaches and the near breach in their alliance. Anya, despite her successful mediation, felt the weight of the conflict, a reminder of the delicate balance required to lead such a diverse team. She knew that the incident served as a valuable lesson, a stark reminder of the importance of open communication and mutual respect, especially when facing a threat of such magnitude. The incident strengthened their resolve, but also served as a warning: the true battle might not lie solely with the harmonizer but with the internal challenges within their own ranks. The near-catastrophic argument served to highlight another internal conflict, the unspoken anxieties within the team. Anya, despite her outwardly confident demeanor, carried the burden of immense responsibility. The fate of two worlds rested on her shoulders, a weight that often left her sleepless nights. The constant threat of death, the relentless pressure of leadership, chipped away at her resolve, creating a silent struggle within her. Kai, too, faced his own demons. His pragmatism, often viewed as strength, masked a deep-seated fear of failure. He had dedicated his life to science, to logic, to understanding the universe. But in the face of the harmonizer, logic seemed to crumble. The possibility of failure was a chilling prospect, a stark reminder of the human limitations in the face of overwhelming cosmic power. Zara's outward confidence often concealed her own vulnerabilities. The weight of her people's hopes, the responsibility to protect her home world, instilled in her a fierce determination that bordered on recklessness. She constantly pushed herself and her team to the limits, driven by her desperation but also masking a profound fear of losing everything. This intense fear often fueled her aggressive approach, which clashed with Kai's cautious nature. Theron's quiet strength belied a profound sense of loss. He had witnessed firsthand the destruction of his civilization, their mastery of temporal technology succumbing to ambition. His knowledge of the harmonizer's potential for destruction was not just intellectual, it was deeply emotional, a painful reminder of past failures. His measured demeanor masked a deep-seated sorrow and a fear of repeating the mistakes of his ancestors. These unspoken anxieties, initially hidden beneath the pressure of their mission, emerged as cracks in their unity. However, unlike their earlier conflict, these internal struggles were addressed with empathy and understanding. They shared their fears, their vulnerabilities, their hopes in a safe space created by the near disaster they had just avoided. Anya organized a team meeting, intentionally creating a space for emotional vulnerability rather than just strategic planning. Each member shared their concerns, anxieties, and fears, in a cathartic moment of collective vulnerability. They acknowledged the psychological burden of their mission, the constant threat to their lives, and the weight of their shared responsibility. This act of collective vulnerability forged a deeper bond between them. They discovered that their anxieties, though individually unique, were ultimately interconnected. Their shared fear reinforced their shared purpose, highlighting the importance of emotional support and mutual understanding. The team transformed from a group of individuals bound by a common objective into a close-knit community, united not just by their cause but by their shared emotional landscape. The realization that their struggles were not isolated but shared experiences created a profound sense of camaraderie and empathy. The trust they had built through shared peril now extended to a deeper understanding of their emotional vulnerabilities. They learned to rely not just on each other's skills, but also on each other's emotional support. The journey to the harmonizer had tested not only their resilience and skill, but also their ability to connect on a deeply human level, preparing them to face the ultimate test. The path ahead remained daunting, but they faced it together, their internal conflicts resolved, their bonds strengthened, and their resolve hardened. They were ready. The hum of the Stardust Wanderer's engines provided a stark counterpoint to the silence in the mess hall. Each member of the team nursed a cup of synth coffee, the steam swirling like phantom anxieties in the dim light. The tension, though lessened after their cathartic meeting, still hung in the air, a palpable reminder of the immense risks they faced. Anya, ever the pragmatist, broke the silence. The harmonizer's energy signature is unstable, she announced, her voice low and serious. The Luminian's readings indicate a significant power surge is imminent. If we don't act quickly, We risk being caught in the crossfire. Her words carried the weight of responsibility, a burden she wore with a quiet grace that belied the storm brewing within her. Kai nodded, his gaze fixed on the swirling nebula outside the viewport. The access point is vulnerable during the surge, he added, his voice a quiet rumble. We need to exploit this window of opportunity, but it's extremely risky. The energy fluctuations will amplify any mistakes exponentially. His calm exterior masked a simmering concern, his meticulous nature wrestled with the unpredictable nature of the task ahead. Zara, her usual fiery intensity tempered by a newfound solemnity, spoke next. Risk is our middle name, she said, a ghost of a smile playing on her lips. But this risk. This is different. It demands a sacrifice. Her eyes swept across the faces of her teammates, acknowledging the unspoken weight of her words. The silence that followed was heavier than before, the unspoken understanding of the necessary sacrifice hanging in the air. It was Theron who finally spoke, his voice soft but unwavering. The Luminians have developed a temporal displacement field, he revealed, his voice laced with a hint of sadness. It can create a localized time dilation, giving us a few precious seconds during the energy surge. But it's a one-time use, and the process requires a substantial energy drain from the ship. The implications of Theron's words hung heavy in the air. The temporal displacement field was their best chance, but it would severely deplete the Stardust Wanderer's power reserves, potentially stranding them far from any known space lanes. It was a gamble, a monumental risk that could leave them adrift in the unforgiving expanse of the cosmos. Kai, ever the scientist, immediately began calculating the potential consequences. The numbers painted a grim picture. The energy drain would be significant, leaving them with minimal power for navigation, communication, and life support. A calculated risk, but a risk nonetheless. The possibility of being stranded, adrift in the cold vacuum of space, threatened to override his logical mind. Zara, ever the warrior, spoke with a newfound acceptance. It's a risk we must take, she said resolutely. My people need this. Their survival hangs in the balance. Losing our ship is a lesser sacrifice than losing our chance to save them. Her unwavering conviction stemmed from a deep sense of responsibility, a weight she carried with quiet dignity. Anya, weighing the risks and the sacrifices, felt a familiar pang of guilt. She had pushed her team to the brink, demanding more than she had a right to ask. Yet, she also knew that the success of their mission rested on their willingness to sacrifice. With a deep breath, she made the decision. We'll do it, she announced, her voice clear and unwavering. We activate the temporal displacement field. The risk is too great not to. The following hours were a blur of frantic activity. Kai oversaw the meticulous preparation of the displacement field, double-checking every calculation, every connection. His hands moved with a precision born from years of dedication, but his heart ached with the weight of his decision. He knew the risk, and yet, his sense of responsibility for the team, for the fate of the two worlds, pushed him forward. His sacrifices were not of blood or body, but of his peace of mind, the security that logic brought him. This time, logic seemed to fall short. Zara meticulously prepared her weapons, ensuring every blast, every maneuver was timed to perfection. She pushed herself to the limit, practicing every fighting stance, every tactical strategy, honing her skills until the muscles in her arms screamed in protest. Her usual fiery intensity was now tempered by a grim determination. She was sacrificing her strength, her stamina, her body, pushing it to the verge of collapse in order to improve their chances. She would spare no effort in the coming engagement. Theron, burdened by the weight of his past, carefully calibrated the temporal displacement field. His expertise was critical, but it was a painful reminder of his past failures, of the technological hubris that led to the destruction of his own people. With every precise adjustment, he wrestled with the ghosts of his past, sacrificing the comfort of his memories for the possibility of a brighter future. His sacrifice was the silencing of his ghosts to aid the living. Anya, meanwhile, kept a close watch over every detail, coordinating the efforts of the team. She felt the weight of their sacrifices, the depth of their commitment, mirroring their willingness to abandon everything for a chance at success. Her sacrifices were of her own peace, pushing herself to endure the emotional and mental toll while remaining calm and collected. Her sacrifice was to keep them all on track. As the Stardust Wanderer approached the Harmonizer's chamber, the air crackled with anticipation. The temporal displacement field activated, creating a localized bubble of slowed time. In those precious few seconds, they moved with lightning speed, precision and courage, executing their plan flawlessly. They faced the Harmonizer, not only with courage and skill, but also with the strength forged in shared sacrifice, and the profound emotional connection cultivated through mutual vulnerability. The team moved as one, A single entity bound by trust, shared risk and understanding. The personal sacrifices, initially weighing heavily on each individual, had somehow become the very bedrock of their success. Their combined sacrifices had forged an unshakable unity, a fortress against the threat of the harmonizer and a testament to their collective commitment. The successful engagement and their escape proved that the greatest sacrifices are sometimes those that bind a team together, forging a shared purpose stronger than any adversity. The journey was far from over, but they faced the unknown, not with fear, but with a newfound strength born from the fires of shared sacrifice and unshakable unity. The escape from the harmonizer's chamber was exhilarating, a blur of calculated maneuvers and precise strikes, but the aftermath was a sobering reality check. The Stardust Wanderer, though intact, was critically low on power. The temporal displacement field, their daring gambit, had worked flawlessly, but at a steep price. Navigation systems flickered intermittently, communication was severely limited, and life support hummed precariously close to failure. The ship, once a symbol of hope, now felt like a fragile eggshell adrift in a vast, unforgiving ocean of stars. Anya, leaning against the console, felt a wave of exhaustion wash over her. The adrenaline had faded, leaving behind a profound sense of vulnerability. The calculated risk had paid off, but the near miss hung heavy in the air, a stark reminder of their precarious situation. She ran a hand through her hair, the gesture revealing a layer of grime and sweat accumulated during the frantic escape. The weight of responsibility, the burden of leadership, pressed down on her, heavier than ever before. Kai, despite his usual meticulous nature, was unusually subdued. The near-catastrophic energy drain had shaken him to his core. His logical mind, typically his anchor, felt adrift, unable to reconcile the success of their mission with the perilous state of their ship. He had pushed the boundaries of his scientific understanding, calculated risks on the precipice of disaster, and yet, here they were, surviving by a thread. The nearness of failure had forced him to confront his own limitations. He was a scientist, a problem solver, but even he could not guarantee a solution to their current predicament. Zara, normally a whirlwind of energy, moved with a slow, deliberate grace. The physical exertion of their escape had left her aching, her muscles screaming in protest. But the weariness in her body was nothing compared to the profound sense of relief that swelled within her. Her people, the Luminians, were safe, their future secured by their collective sacrifice. Yet, the price of that victory was starkly present in the reality of their current situation. She knew the road ahead was challenging, but there was a newfound resolve in her gaze. Theron, usually reserved, paced restlessly near the viewport, his gaze fixed on the swirling nebula outside. The temporal displacement field, his creation, had been their salvation, but the act had been an agonizing confrontation with his past. The ghosts of his people, the weight of his past failures, still haunted him. He had poured his soul into the technology, seeking redemption, but the success was bittersweet, tinged with the memory of loss. He was slowly coming to terms with the notion that success didn't erase failures, but that it could possibly pave a path for the future. The following days were a blur of resource management, repairs, and painstaking recalculations. Kai, despite his exhaustion, worked tirelessly to assess the damage and devise a plan for survival. He discovered a small, previously overlooked power source that could provide a limited amount of energy for navigation, enough to reach a nearby, albeit distant, space station. The path forward remained a complex one, yet a path was revealed by necessity. Zara took on the task of training the Luminians, who had survived the attack, to defend themselves in case of further incidents. She was not just a warrior, but a teacher, helping them build resilience, imparting her fighting prowess with newfound patience, forged in the fires of this recent experience. This was not merely a military training, it was about fostering a spirit of self-reliance in the Luminians. Theron, spurred by a renewed sense of purpose, delved deeper into the mysteries of the harmonizer's energy signature, hoping to gain insights that could prevent such events from occurring again. His past failures, instead of crippling him, became a source of motivation, fueling his determination to prevent future calamities. Anya, having accepted the weight of her leadership, made difficult decisions with unwavering resolve. They had to ration their remaining supplies, make tough calls about essential equipment and repair priorities, keeping a balance between survival and ensuring they could maintain contact with those they had come to protect. Her actions were marked by calm, strategic thinking and empathy. Their journey to the space station was fraught with peril. They faced unexpected solar flares, navigated treacherous asteroid fields, and dealt with the constant threat of power failure. Yet, their teamwork became stronger than ever, their shared experiences forging an unbreakable bond. Each member of the team pushed themselves beyond their limits, drawing strength from each other's resilience. The challenges they faced pushed them into a state of heightened awareness and cooperation. Each problem solved was a testament to their combined skill and an enhancement to their problem-solving abilities. During a particularly tense moment, as the Stardust Wanderer dodged a rogue asteroid, a near miss prompted a deep conversation amongst the team. They each admitted their fears and vulnerabilities, not only sharing their anxieties but also their past experiences that had shaped them. These personal revelations weren't just personal, they were revelations of their character, creating a deeper understanding of their individual motivations and anxieties. The near-death experience served to solidify their bond, making them more resilient and self-aware. They faced the future not as individuals, but as a united team that had faced and overcome unimaginable odds. This collective experience became a cornerstone of their future, influencing their future strategies and decision-making. The shared vulnerability had transcended individual fears, replacing them with a sense of collective resilience. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they arrived at the space station, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness of space. Their arrival was not a triumphant return, but a quiet relief, a moment of respite after their harrowing ordeal. The station was a place of respite, a place to repair and reevaluate, but more importantly, it was a symbol of hope. The setbacks, the failures, the near misses, they were not just events in their journey, they were lessons learned, hard-won wisdom that shaped their future actions. They had overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles, not through sheer luck, but through resilience, teamwork, and a profound understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Their story was not yet finished, but they had emerged from the trial stronger, more united, and ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, their resilience cemented by their shared sacrifices. The shared experience forged within them a sense of solidarity that transcended any individual concern or ambition. The challenges they faced were not merely obstacles to be overcome, but opportunities for growth, forging in them a collective identity that was stronger than any adversity. The space station, a sprawling metallic behemoth against the inky backdrop of space, loomed before them. It wasn't the gleaming, pristine structure often depicted in holovids. Its hull bore the scars of countless voyages, patches of repair work a testament to the rigors of interstellar travel. Yet, it pulsed with a life of its own, a faint hum resonating through the Stardust Wanderer's sensors, a promise of respite and, perhaps, salvation. As they docked, a sense of quiet anticipation filled the ship. The adrenaline of their escape, the constant tension of their perilous journey, had finally begun to recede, replaced by a profound weariness that settled deep in their bones. Anya, Kai, Zara, and Theron exchanged weary but knowing glances. The unspoken understanding between them was palpable. They had survived, but the fight was far from over. The welcoming committee consisted of a grizzled, weary-looking technician named Jax, his face etched with the lines of countless solar flares and close calls. His initial assessment of the Stardust Wanderer was grim, confirming the extent of their power drain and the damage sustained during their escape. He explained that while full repairs would be extensive, the station could offer temporary power and essential supplies, buying them the time they desperately needed. The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Kai, fueled by a renewed sense of purpose, dedicated himself to restoring the ship's navigation systems. He spent countless hours poring over schematics, his fingers dancing across the console's interface, his brow furrowed in intense concentration. The near-catastrophic failure had forced him to confront his limitations, but it had also ignited a burning desire to master his craft, to prevent such failures from ever happening again. He was no longer just a scientist, he was a protector, a guardian of their fragile vessel. Zara, ever the pragmatist, used the station's training facilities to further hone the Luminians' combat skills. She incorporated lessons learned from their narrow escape, emphasizing adaptability and improvisation in close-quarters combat. The Luminians, initially hesitant and shell-shocked, responded with surprising eagerness, their faces reflecting a newfound determination. Zara's leadership wasn't just about imparting fighting techniques, it was about instilling confidence and resilience, helping them reclaim their strength and embrace their roles in their own salvation. The training sessions weren't simply drills, they were acts of empowerment, transforming survivors into warriors. Theron, haunted by the memories of his people, found solace in his work. He pored over the data he had salvaged from the harmonizer, tirelessly searching for clues, for answers. He was determined to not just understand the technology but to unravel the motives of its creators, to prevent any further tragedies. The weight of the past, once a debilitating burden, now fueled his actions, transforming his sorrow into a driving force for innovation and precaution. He was driven by a need for justice, a profound desire to prevent future suffering. His research was not just about understanding the harmonizer, it was a personal quest for redemption, a chance to honor the memory of those he had lost. Anya, the team's leader, took on the crucial role of liaison with the station authorities. She negotiated for supplies, explained their mission, and secured vital repair components. Her calm demeanor and strategic thinking impressed even the jaded station personnel. The burdens of leadership had weighed heavily on her, but she had emerged from the trial strengthened, her resolve unwavering. Her leadership wasn't just about making decisions, it was about inspiring confidence and forging alliances, securing the resources they needed to succeed. The weight of responsibility had not broken her, it had forged her into a stronger, more decisive leader. The team's shared experience during their escape and subsequent journey had forged an unbreakable bond. Their vulnerabilities, once hidden behind stoic exteriors, had become shared secrets, forging a trust and understanding that transcended simple camaraderie. They knew each other's strengths and weaknesses, their hopes and fears, and they relied on each other implicitly. They weren't just a team, they were a family, bound by shared trauma and a common purpose. One evening, gathered around a makeshift table in the station's common area, they shared stories of their past, their lives before the harmonizer incident. Anya recounted her early training as a pilot, the thrill of mastering the skies, and the crushing disappointment of facing setbacks. Kai spoke of his childhood dream of becoming a scientist, the years of study and the exhilarating discoveries that had shaped his career. Zara shared tales of her warrior training, the sacrifices she had made, and the unwavering loyalty she felt for her people. Theron described his fascination with temporal physics, his breakthroughs, and the crushing loss he had endured. Their stories were raw, honest, and deeply personal, exposing their vulnerabilities and showcasing their resilience. These shared narratives weren't just personal reminiscences, they were foundational to their understanding of one another. Their vulnerabilities, once hidden, became bridges of understanding, solidifying the bonds of trust between them. The individual stories weaved together, forming a tapestry of shared experience, proving that their resilience wasn't solely born from their journey, but also from their inherent characters. They were not just survivors, but individuals who had faced adversity, and emerged stronger through unity and mutual support. Their time on the space station was brief, but vital. The repairs were completed, the supplies replenished, and their spirits renewed. The Stardust Wanderer, though still bearing its scars, was once again ready for the journey ahead. They had faced trials and tribulations, suffered setbacks and near misses, but they had emerged from the crucible stronger, their bonds forged in the fires of adversity. Their shared experiences had transformed them, not just as individuals, but as a team, bound by an unbreakable connection, their commitment strengthened by the tests they had overcome. As they prepared for departure, a palpable sense of anticipation filled the ship. The space station, a haven of respite, was now fading into the distance, a symbol of their newfound resilience. They were not simply returning to their mission, they were moving forward with a renewed sense of determination, a united front against any obstacle that lay ahead. The journey to confront the forces that had threatened their world was daunting, but they were ready. They had faced the darkness, and they had emerged stronger, ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead, their hearts filled with the unshakable conviction of their shared purpose. The challenges ahead were not daunting, they were a testament to the strength they had found in their shared journey and the indomitable spirit they had cultivated together. Their journey was not just a quest, it was a testament to the power of human resilience, the strength found in unity, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of hope, even in the darkest reaches of space. Chapter 12, The Confrontation. The Stardust Wanderer, a tiny speck against the colossal shadow of the Xylus system's primary star, approached the Obsidian Citadel. It wasn't a citadel in the traditional sense, rather, it was a colossal, asteroid-sized space station, its surface a patchwork of jagged obsidian plates reflecting the star's malevolent glare. Jagged protrusions, like skeletal fingers, clawed at the surrounding void. The sheer scale of it was overwhelming, a chilling testament to the power of the entity they were about to confront. Even from this distance, Anya could feel the oppressive weight of its presence, a suffocating sense of dread that settled deep in her bones. Kai, hunched over the navigation console, adjusted their trajectory, guiding the ship towards a seemingly impossible gap between two colossal obsidian shards. The gap was narrow, a knife's edge in the vastness of space, requiring pinpoint accuracy and nerves of steel. Sweat beaded on his forehead, but his fingers remained steady, his focus absolute. Years of training, the weight of their mission, and the memory of his lost friends propelled him forward. He had to succeed. Their lives depended on it. Zara, stationed at the helm, kept a watchful eye on their surroundings. The Obsidian Citadel wasn't merely a structure, it was alive, pulsating with an energy that was both terrifying and alluring. Swarms of smaller, menacing craft, like predatory insects, circled the citadel, their dark hulls shimmering with an unnatural energy. She adjusted the Wanderer's shields, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. Her Luminians, each a silent warrior, stood ready at their stations, their faces grim but resolute. They had trained relentlessly, honing their skills, transforming themselves from scared survivors to hardened combatants, ready to face whatever horrors lay ahead. Theron, in the science bay, monitored the Citadel's energy signature. The readings were off the charts, fluctuating wildly, a chaotic symphony of power that spoke of something far beyond their comprehension. He was grappling with the implications of the Harmonizer's technology, realizing that they were facing something far more ancient and powerful than they could have ever imagined. His fear was tempered by a grim determination. He had to understand this power, to find a weakness, to turn it against its creators. The weight of his people's memory drove him, fueling his desperate search for answers. Anya, observing the Citadel's formidable defenses, felt a familiar knot of anxiety in her stomach. This wasn't just a battle, it was a clash of ideologies, a final stand against a force that threatened to consume everything they held dear. She adjusted her helmet calm, addressing her team. Remember our training. Work together. We go in together, and we leave together. No one gets left behind. Their approach was fraught with peril. The Obsidian Citadel's defenses were relentless, a storm of energy blasts and missiles that pelted the Stardust Wanderer. The shields held, but only just, the ship shuddering violently under the relentless barrage. Kai expertly navigated through a hail of debris, weaving through the attacks with a skill that bordered on the miraculous. Zara fought back, unleashing a volley of countermeasures that momentarily disrupted the Citadel's defenses, buying them precious time. The Wanderer finally pierced the outer defenses, entering a claustrophobic corridor carved through the asteroid's interior. The corridor was narrow, and the walls seemed to press in on them, amplifying the sense of unease. The air crackled with strange energy, and the silence was unsettling, a stark contrast to the furious battle they had just endured. The silence was worse than the barrage. It was the silence before the storm. As they continued deeper into the heart of the Citadel, the atmosphere changed. The walls shifted, revealing massive chambers filled with strange machinery, humming with a malevolent energy. Giant crystalline structures pulsated with an ethereal light, casting long, dancing shadows across the cavernous space. The air grew thick, heavy with an alien scent that stung their nostrils and made their lungs burn. The very structure of the Citadel seemed to be alive, sensing their presence, reacting to their intrusion. They reached a massive chamber, a cathedral of technology, at the heart of the Obsidian Citadel. At the center stood a colossal machine, a pulsating heart of dark energy, a monolithic structure of obsidian and chrome, humming with a power that dwarfed anything they had ever witnessed. It was the source of the Harmonizer's energy, the core of their enemy's power, the culmination of their harrowing journey. Surrounding the machine were shadowy figures, cloaked in darkness, their features obscured by the flickering lights. They were the architects of destruction, the creators of the Harmonizer, the beings who had threatened to extinguish their world. Their eyes glowed with an unsettling energy, their presence radiating malice and power. The air crackled with anticipation, the silence deafening as they prepared for the final confrontation. The battle was brutal, a whirlwind of energy blasts, close quarters combat, and desperate maneuvers. Kai unleashed a series of carefully calculated energy pulses, disrupting the machine's power flow, creating momentary openings for Zara and her Luminians to strike. Zara's warriors fought with unmatched ferocity, their training paying off in spectacular fashion. Theron, meanwhile, worked tirelessly, trying to overload the machine's systems, to shut it down permanently. Anya, leading from the front, directed the assault, her commands clear and precise, her courage unwavering. The enemy fought back with equal ferocity, unleashing wave after wave of attacks, but the team's combined efforts began to take their toll. The machine's energy output sputtered, its once steady hum now punctuated by erratic bursts of power. Cracks began to appear on its obsidian surface, a sign that their combined efforts were finally paying off. The final confrontation was a desperate struggle. Anya found herself face to face with the leader of the shadowy figures, a being of immense power and malevolence. The battle was intense, a clash of wills, of skill, and of determination. Anya, drawing upon every ounce of her training and her unwavering resolve, finally managed to disable the entity's energy shield, opening it up to a final, decisive attack. With a final, synchronized blast from the Stardust Wanderer's remaining energy weapons and Theron's overload, the machine shuddered violently, its energy sputtering, and then, silence. The colossal machine at the heart of the Obsidian Citadel imploded, its power dissolving into nothingness, its terrifying hum replaced by the eerie quiet of the void. The shadowy figures vanished, leaving behind only the echoing silence of their defeat. The threat was over. The team, battered but victorious, collapsed, exhaustion claiming them. They had faced unimaginable odds, battled terrifying adversaries, and endured unimaginable losses. But they had triumphed. They had saved their world. Their journey, fraught with peril and sacrifice, had finally come to an end. In the desolate silence of the vanquished citadel, they found a hard-won peace, a testament to their resilience, their unity, and the unwavering hope that had carried them through the darkest reaches of space. Their victory, hard-earned and dearly bought, was a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit, and a promise of a future reclaimed from the clutches of darkness. The initial assault had been a chaotic maelstrom of energy blasts and evasive maneuvers. Kai, with the reflexes honed over years of piloting nimble starfighters through asteroid fields, weaved the Stardust Wanderer through the barrage of incoming fire, his knuckles white on the controls. Zara, her face grim with concentration, expertly deflected incoming missiles, her Luminians swiftly deploying countermeasures with precision and speed. Their synchronized defense created a shimmering shield of energy, deflecting the majority of the attacks, but the constant pounding shook the ship to its core. The Obsidian Citadel retaliated with a ferocity that bordered on madness, its defenses seemingly endless. Theron, his fingers flying across his console, monitored the Citadel's energy signatures, searching for a weakness, a chink in the seemingly impenetrable armor. He discovered a rhythmic pulse, a heartbeat of the Citadel's defenses, a subtle fluctuation that hinted at a possible vulnerability. He relayed this information to Anya, who, with her battle-hardened experience, immediately recognized the strategic opportunity. Kai, she said, her voice calm despite the chaos around them, focus on disrupting that rhythmic pulse. Zara, create a diversion. Theron, amplify the disruption. I'll take point. Kai, understanding the strategy immediately, adjusted his course, targeting the points where Theron's analysis indicated the weakest points in the Citadel's energy grid. With a series of precisely timed bursts of energy, he struck at the heart of the Citadel's defenses, temporarily overloading the system and creating a brief window of opportunity. Zara, seizing the moment, launched a coordinated attack with her Luminians, their smaller, faster craft swarming the Citadel's defense drones, creating a chaotic distraction. Their attacks were swift and precise, taking down enemy craft with surgical strikes, their movements coordinated through a silent, almost telepathic understanding forged through years of rigorous training. The Luminians moved like a coordinated swarm, a mesmerizing dance of destruction. Their synchronized movements were a testament to their bond and skills, a ballet of death executed with cold efficiency. They weren't just fighting, they were conducting a symphony of destruction, each strike echoing in perfect harmony with the others. Theron, meanwhile, unleashed a concentrated burst of energy, further overloading the Citadel's systems, amplifying the disruption caused by Kai's attack. The Citadel's defenses faltered, momentarily stunned by the coordinated assault. This was their chance. Anya, seizing the opening, led a daring charge, her Luminians following close behind, their energy weapons blazing, cutting a path through the thinning defenses. The corridors of the Citadel became a battleground, a deadly maze of narrow passages and claustrophobic chambers, where close quarters combat was the only option. Anya, a master of hand-to-hand combat, moved with lethal grace, her movements a blur of motion, each strike precise and deadly. Her Luminians fought alongside her, their blades flashing, their movements a symphony of death. The air filled with the clash of energy weapons, the shriek of metal on metal, the desperate cries of the enemy. The battle raged on, each clash of weapons a testament to the courage and skill of the Stardust Wanderer's crew. They fought not only for survival but for the future, for the hope of a world free from the shadow of the Harmonizer. They fought for their loved ones, for the memory of those they had lost. As they fought their way deeper into the Citadel, the environment itself seemed to turn against them. The walls shifted and groaned, and strange energy pulses rocked the ship, threatening to tear them apart. The air grew thick with a nauseatingly sweet scent, a chemical concoction that burned their lungs and clouded their minds, pushing them to their limits. Yet they persevered. They had come too far to give up now. They encountered waves of heavily armed guards, cybernetically enhanced soldiers who moved with unnatural speed and precision, their attacks brutal and relentless. But the Stardust Wanderer's crew was equally relentless. Zara's Luminians moved with a deadly precision, taking down guards with silent efficiency. Kai, using the ship's remaining weaponry, provided covering fire. Theron struggled to maintain their shield integrity against the relentless onslaught. Anya, with her battle-hardened skill and tactical genius, directed the team's movements and made the most of each moment. The battle became a gruesome dance of death, where every maneuver, every strike, was a matter of life or death. The closer they got to the central core, the more vicious the attacks became. The Citadel seemed to be fighting back with a terrible, almost sentient rage, attempting to crush the intruders before they could reach the heart of its power. The corridors became even more treacherous, the walls closing in, creating a claustrophobic and deadly environment that tested their strength, their resilience, and their resolve. The air grew heavy with the scent of ozone and burning metal, and each breath felt like a struggle. But the team persisted, moving forward with grim determination. They knew that failure was not an option. The fate of their world rested on their shoulders. Their determination was unwavering, even as the obstacles seemed insurmountable. The memory of their fallen comrades pushed them forward, their pain fueled their resilience. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of brutal combat, they reached the heart of the citadel, a vast chamber pulsating with an intense energy. At the center stood the Harmonizer, a colossal machine of obsidian and chrome, its surface shimmering with an unholy light. The air crackled with raw power, and the very ground beneath their feet vibrated with the machine's energy. They had reached the source of their enemy's power. The final confrontation was not simply a battle, it was a war against time and a desperate fight for survival against a power seemingly beyond their comprehension. The Harmonizer was not just a weapon, it was a living entity, a malevolent force that was ready to unleash its full wrath upon them. The struggle was fierce, a brutal clash of wills and technological might. The battle was a dance between hope and despair, a testament to their courage and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. They fought with the ferocity of cornered animals, determined to make their sacrifice count. Their every move was a testament to their unwavering spirit and the strength of their bonds. They fought as one, their actions a seamless blend of individual skills, coordinated strategy, and deep-seated camaraderie. The air crackled with energy, echoing the tension and the unrelenting battle. Each strike was met with a counterstrike, each move calculated to maximize their advantage in this desperate last stand. This was not simply a fight for survival, it was a fight for their future, their world, and the lives of countless others who depended on them. The Harmonizer pulsed, its obsidian surface shimmering with an unholy light that seemed to mock their efforts. Anya, ever the strategist, had anticipated a final, desperate defense, but nothing could have truly prepared them for the sheer scale of the machine's power. It wasn't merely emitting energy, it was actively manipulating the very fabric of reality within the chamber. Gravity shifted unpredictably, throwing them off balance. The air crackled with static, stinging their skin and overloading their sensors. The sweet, nauseating scent intensified, becoming almost unbearable. Kai, fighting to maintain control of the Stardust Wanderer, found the ship bucking wildly, its systems struggling under the Harmonizer's disruptive influence. The energy pulses weren't random, they were targeted, specifically designed to overwhelm their defenses and disable their weaponry. He fought against the overwhelming forces, his hands slick with sweat, his body screaming in protest. He had faced countless threats in his career, but this was different, this was something beyond his comprehension. The sheer malevolence of the Harmonizer's power was palpable, a suffocating wave of darkness threatening to consume them. Zara, her Luminians struggling to maintain formation amidst the chaotic energy fields, fought to keep their attacks focused. Their precise strikes, normally a symphony of destruction, were now haphazard, erratic. The Harmonizer's influence was disrupting their connection, their almost telepathic bond fraying under the pressure. She fought to maintain control, knowing that if they lost their synchronicity, their chances of survival would plummet. The Luminians, her loyal companions, fought on bravely, their unwavering loyalty a source of strength in the face of utter despair. Theron, his face pale with exertion, worked furiously, trying to counteract the Harmonizer's disruption. He was battling not just against the machine, but against the very laws of physics. The energy signatures were shifting constantly, making it impossible to predict the Harmonizer's next move. His fingers blurred across the console, each keystroke a desperate gamble, a fight against the overwhelming power of their enemy. He knew the success of their mission hung by a thread, each failing attempt chipping away at the hope that had sustained them thus far. Anya, witnessing the struggle of her crew, felt a surge of both fear and determination. Their coordinated attack had worked, but it had only enraged the Harmonizer. They were facing something far more powerful than they could have ever imagined, a force that seemed to anticipate their every move. She saw a flicker of something unexpected in the Harmonizer's energy signature, a pause, a hesitation. It was almost a tremor of doubt. Suddenly, a deep, resonant voice echoed through the chamber, a voice that resonated not through the air but directly into their minds. It was the Harmonizer itself, speaking in a language they instinctively understood, a language of pure energy and raw power. It spoke of its purpose, its mission to bring order to the galaxy, to cleanse it of what it considered chaos. It spoke of the pain it had endured, the sacrifices it had made, and the ultimate price it was willing to pay to achieve its goals. It was a chilling revelation. The Harmonizer wasn't just a weapon, It was a sentient entity, a being of immense power driven by a twisted sense of purpose. The voice shifted, revealing a disturbing truth. The Harmonizer was not only defending itself but also protecting something hidden deep within its core. The very act of their attack had triggered a failsafe, a final defense mechanism designed to protect its core. And the thing it protected was nothing short of astonishing. The initial shock of the revelation was followed by confusion. What could the Harmonizer possibly be protecting? What secret did it hold? These questions were instantly shoved aside as the next phase of the battle began. The walls of the chamber began to shift and reform, creating new obstacles and pathways, a deadly maze of shifting energy fields and impenetrable barriers. The fight became even more desperate, a frantic struggle for survival against a foe that seemed to anticipate their every move and change its defenses in response. Anya, drawing upon her years of experience, realized that the Harmonizer wasn't simply fighting them, it was manipulating the environment to its advantage, forcing them into a deadly game of cat and mouse. This wasn't just a brute force assault, it was a test, a trial of skill and cunning. Zara's Luminians found themselves separated, each facing new and unique challenges. The maze-like structure of the chamber forced them to fight independently, relying on their individual skills and training. The rhythmic pulse of the Harmonizer disrupted their communications, making coordinated attacks impossible. They were forced to improvise, adapt, and fight with a ferocity born of desperation. Theron, working under immense pressure, discovered that the Harmonizer's defenses weren't merely technological, they were interwoven with a form of ancient, arcane magic, a power far beyond his understanding. He found himself working not only with technology, but with raw magical energy, attempting to counter the Harmonizer's influence with an unexpected blend of science and sorcery. The effort taxed him beyond his limits, but he fought on, fueled by the hope that he could find a way to overcome this formidable challenge. Kai discovered a new weakness, a point in the energy field where the Harmonizer's control was momentarily faltering. He seized this opportunity, launching a precise attack that resonated with a frequency that disoriented the Harmonizer, creating a momentary lapse in its defense. It was a gamble, a desperate attempt to create a window of opportunity, but the odds were against them. This momentary disruption, however, was exactly what they needed to launch their final, desperate assault. Anya, seeing the opening, led a daring charge, leveraging Kai's diversion and Theron's newly discovered countermeasure to break through the Harmonizer's defenses. The final confrontation was a breathtaking display of skill and courage, a deadly dance between light and shadow. They fought with the knowledge that failure meant not just death, but the enslavement of their world. As they fought their way closer to the Harmonizer's core, they discovered the truth: the Harmonizer wasn't protecting a weapon or a device, it was protecting a single, fragile seed, a seed that contained the genetic code of an ancient, long-lost species, a species that had the power to restore the balance of the galaxy. The Harmonizer, in its twisted way, had been safeguarding the galaxy's salvation, protecting its hope for a brighter future. This seed, however, was the key, not to the Harmonizer's destruction but to its redemption. The true enemy wasn't the Harmonizer itself but the dark force that had corrupted it, twisting its noble purpose into a destructive obsession. The crew faced a choice: destroy the Harmonizer and potentially destroy the last hope for their world, or find a way to save both the machine and the seed within. The unexpected twist left them reeling, forced to confront a moral dilemma far more complex than the initial battle they had faced. Their fight was far from over, a new and more challenging battle had only just begun. The weight of the Harmonizer's power pressed down on them, a crushing burden that threatened to suffocate their hope. Anya watched as Zara, her face streaked with sweat and grime, stumbled back, a Lumion collapsing beside her, its luminescent form flickering and dimming. The creature's light, usually vibrant and strong, was now weak, its energy fading like a dying star. The Harmonizer's energy blasts hadn't just been physical, they'd targeted the very life force of the Luminians, slowly draining their essence. A wave of grief washed over Anya. She'd seen countless battles, countless losses, but the sight of a fallen Lumion always hit her harder than anything else. They weren't just weapons, they were sentient beings, fiercely loyal companions, and the loss of one felt like a personal betrayal. Zara, usually stoic and composed, knelt beside the fallen Lumion, cradling its fading form in her arms, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. The loss of her companion was a blow to her already strained capacity, a tangible representation of the ever-increasing cost of their mission. Kai, witnessing the scene, gritted his teeth. He'd already lost too much. The Stardust Wanderer, his beloved ship, was groaning under the strain, its shields flickering dangerously close to failure. Alarms blared incessantly, a cacophony of warnings that reflected the mounting desperation of their situation. He risked a glance at the damage reports, his stomach clenching. One more major hit and the ship would be crippled, leaving them utterly defenseless against the Harmonizer's relentless assault. The ship, a symbol of his ambition and dedication, was now teetering on the brink of destruction, mirroring the fragility of their mission. Theron, his face pale and drawn, barely registered the cries of anguish around him. He was hunched over his console, his fingers flying across the controls, his eyes bloodshot and frantic. He'd managed to create a temporary shield against the Harmonizer's energy blasts, but it was a fragile defense, constantly on the verge of collapsing. The strain on his mental and physical capacities was immense, a relentless pressure that threatened to break him. He pushed himself relentlessly, driven by a fierce determination to hold on, to keep them alive, to atone for the past sacrifices. A vision flashed before his eyes, a reminder of the cost of inaction. He pressed forward, ignoring the weariness that threatened to overwhelm him. The Harmonizer's voice resonated again, its chilling tone devoid of empathy. It spoke of sacrifice, of the countless beings it had consumed to achieve its twisted goals. It spoke of a galaxy cleansed, purified, but at a terrible cost. The words were a blade twisting in Anya's gut, forcing her to confront the horrifying reality of the Harmonizer's actions. She'd always fought for justice, for the preservation of life, but here, in this desperate battle, she was forced to consider the monstrous implications of their actions. Their assault had been brutal, effective, but had come at a staggering price. The chamber, once a controlled environment, was now a chaotic maelstrom of energy, a testament to the sheer power of the Harmonizer and their relentless fight. The air crackled with raw energy, punctuated by the sporadic cries of the wounded and the agonizing screams of those succumbing to the Harmonizer's destructive power. Amidst the chaos, Anya saw Theron falter. His eyes glazed over, his hands slackening on the console. He'd pushed himself too hard, his body finally giving way under the immense pressure. Kai, with a desperate yell, rushed to his side, providing whatever support he could. The moment felt profoundly vulnerable, and the silence before the next blast was deafening. Zara, having regained a measure of composure, stood up, her eyes blazing with a fierce determination. She rallied her remaining Luminians, their light dimmed but not extinguished. They charged forward, their attacks less coordinated but no less ferocious, driven by the memory of their fallen comrade, and a deep-seated loyalty to their leader and their mission. Their bravery was a beacon of hope in the overwhelming darkness. As they pressed onward, Anya discovered a chilling truth. The Harmonizer wasn't just destroying their technology, it was actively eroding their hope, their morale, and their willingness to fight. The constant barrage of attacks wasn't just a physical assault, it was psychological warfare, chipping away at their resolve. The pressure was unrelenting. Their resilience, once their greatest strength, was now severely tested. Another Lumion fell, its light snuffed out like a candle in a storm. Anya felt a fresh surge of grief, the pain of loss adding another layer to the burden already weighing heavily upon her. She knew they were losing ground, not only physically but emotionally too. The cost of victory was proving far greater than they'd ever imagined. The fight continued, a brutal, exhausting ballet of laser fire and energy blasts. Each passing moment felt like an eternity, each loss a heavy blow that threatened to break their spirit. They pressed on, driven by a desperate hope that flickered precariously in the face of overwhelming odds. The closer they got to the Harmonizer's core, the more intense the battle became. The environment itself seemed to conspire against them, shifting and reforming, creating new obstacles at every turn. They fought through walls of energy, navigated mazes of shifting metal, and evaded traps designed to obliterate them. The sacrifice was undeniable. They were paying a heavy price for each inch of ground gained, each moment of respite. They were being pushed to their absolute limits. There was no guarantee of victory. The losses continued to mount, yet they fought on, fueled by their determination, their bond, and the fading embers of hope. The loss of their comrades, the destruction of their technology, the relentless onslaught of the Harmonizer's power, it all seemed like an insurmountable tide, threatening to drag them down into the abyss. But amidst the chaos, amidst the pain and the losses, something remained. A spark, a flicker, a refusal to surrender. They fought on, not because they were sure of victory, but because they couldn't bear to imagine the alternative, a galaxy shrouded in darkness, and a future stolen by a twisted vision of order. The final confrontation would decide not only their fate but the fate of the galaxy. Their sacrifices had forged an unbreakable bond, their losses fueling their determination to win a fight they might not survive. The air throbbed with the Harmonizer's power, a tangible pressure that pressed against their eardrums and squeezed the breath from their lungs. Anya, her vision blurred by sweat and grime, saw Kai collapse, his body convulsing as the last of his energy drained away. The temporary shield Theron had erected shattered, showering them with a wave of searing energy that sent Zara sprawling. Anya felt a searing pain lance through her arm, the impact throwing her against a jagged piece of metal. For a heartbeat, a terrifying silence descended, broken only by the ragged gasps of the wounded and the steady, malevolent hum of the harmonizer. The weight of their losses bore down on them, a crushing burden that threatened to extinguish the last embers of their hope. They had fought with a ferocity born of desperation, a courage fueled by the memory of their fallen comrades. But the harmonizer's power was relentless, its onslaught a tsunami of destruction that seemed unstoppable. Zara, her face a mask of grim determination, scrambled to her feet. Blood trickled from a gash on her forehead, but she showed no sign of weakness. With a guttural cry, she summoned the remaining Luminians, their faint light a testament to their unwavering loyalty. They moved as one, a unified force despite their dwindling numbers, their attacks a desperate dance of light and shadow against the overwhelming power of their enemy. Their courage, however, was no match for the sheer destructive force the harmonizer unleashed. Anya, despite her injury, found a surge of adrenaline coursing through her veins. This wasn't just a battle for survival, it was a fight for the very soul of the galaxy. She drew her energy blade, its humming a defiant counterpoint to the harmonizer's ominous drone. She charged, weaving through the chaotic maelstrom of energy blasts, her movements a blur of controlled precision. She fought not with the cold efficiency of a soldier, but with the fierce determination of someone defending everything they held dear. Every swing of her blade, every parry, every desperate maneuver was a testament to her unwavering resolve. She moved like a shadow, a wraith flitting through the storm, her attacks precise and deadly, each strike aimed at disrupting the harmonizer's energy flow. The battle raged around her, a swirling vortex of light and energy. She saw Theron, miraculously still alive, struggling to his feet. His face was pale, his breathing ragged, but his eyes burned with a fierce determination that mirrored her own. He wasn't a warrior, but his contribution to this fight was invaluable, a testament to the power of resilience in the face of insurmountable odds. He raised his hands, focusing his energy, and with a final surge of strength, he unleashed a powerful wave of energy towards the harmonizer's core. It was a gamble, a desperate act of defiance, but it bought them precious moments. Moments that Zara and Anya exploited with brutal efficiency. Their combined onslaught created an opening, a small breach in the harmonizer's defenses. They pressed their advantage, the coordinated attacks of the Luminians a deadly ballet of light and shadow. But the harmonizer responded with renewed force, its attacks becoming more focused, more precise, more devastating. The ground beneath them trembled, the very fabric of the chamber seemed to tear under the strain. Yet, they pressed on, pushing through the pain, ignoring the wounds, fueled by a desperate hope that flickered in the face of overwhelming odds. Anya felt a sharp pang of grief as another Lumian fell, its light extinguished, joining the growing ranks of the fallen. The weight of loss was immense, but it fueled her fury, her determination to fight back against the cold, calculated cruelty of the harmonizer. She felt a surge of defiance, a refusal to surrender, a stubborn clinging to the last shred of hope. She fought not just for survival, but for the countless lives the harmonizer threatened to extinguish. The climax of the battle was a whirlwind of destruction, a maelstrom of laser fire and energy blasts. The chamber shook violently, the air thick with the smell of ozone and burning metal. Each swing of Anya's blade, each blast of energy from Zara's Luminians, each desperate maneuver from Theron was a desperate prayer, a silent plea for survival, a defiant refusal to succumb to the harmonizer's will. The harmonizer roared, its voice a terrifying symphony of destruction, its power threatening to overwhelm them, to crush them, to extinguish their hope. But they held on, their resolve unshaken, their spirits unbroken. They fought as one, a unified force against an overwhelming foe, driven by a shared purpose, a common goal, a desperate hope for a brighter future. They pushed forward, inching closer to the harmonizer's core, their movements a desperate dance of survival. They fought through waves of energy, dodged streams of molten metal, and evaded traps designed to obliterate them. The cost was immense, the losses were heavy, but they pressed on, driven by a fierce determination to prevail. The final confrontation was a desperate, brutal clash of wills. Anya, Zara, and Theron fought with the ferocity of cornered animals, their attacks relentless, their defense unwavering. They poured every ounce of their remaining energy into their final assault, a desperate gamble that would decide the fate of the galaxy. The harmonizer's power was immense, its attacks overwhelming, but they didn't falter. They fought with a strength they didn't know they possessed, a resilience forged in the fires of loss and fueled by the embers of hope. Their final assault was a testament to their courage, their determination, and their unwavering belief in the possibility of a brighter future. It was a fight for everything they held dear, a fight for the very soul of the galaxy. The final blow was delivered not with brute force, but with cunning strategy and sheer willpower. Anya, exploiting a momentary lapse in the harmonizer's defense, unleashed a concentrated blast of energy directly into its core. The impact was cataclysmic. The harmonizer's power surged, then faltered, its hum turning into a strangled whimper before silence descended. The chamber went still, the overwhelming pressure lifting, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. The battle was over. They had won. But victory came at a terrible cost. Many had fallen, their sacrifices echoing in the stillness of the chamber. The air was thick with the smell of smoke and ozone, the silence punctuated only by the ragged gasps of the survivors. Anya looked around at the devastation, at the fallen Luminians, at the battered and bruised faces of her companions. The cost of victory had been immense, far greater than they had ever imagined. But they had prevailed, and in the quiet aftermath, a fragile sense of hope began to take root. The fight was over, but the journey had just begun. The galaxy needed healing, and they would play their part in rebuilding what had been lost. The fight for a better future had just started. Chapter 13, Victory and Aftermath. The silence that followed the harmonizer's demise was deafening, a stark contrast to the cacophony of the battle that had just ended. Dust motes danced in the fractured beams of light filtering through the shattered ceiling, illuminating the scene of devastation. The once imposing machine lay inert, a twisted wreck of metal and sparking wires, its malevolent hum reduced to a faint, dying sigh. The air, thick with the acrid stench of ozone and burnt metal, hung heavy in their lungs. Anya sank to her knees, her legs trembling beneath her. The adrenaline that had fueled her through the brutal battle ebbed away, leaving behind a bone-deep exhaustion. Her arm throbbed with pain, a constant reminder of the ferocity of the fight. She looked around at the scene of carnage, a panorama of devastation that mirrored the turmoil within her own soul. The Luminians, their ethereal glow extinguished, lay scattered across the floor like fallen stars. Their sacrifice, their unwavering loyalty, weighed heavily on her heart. Each one represented a life lost, a bond severed, a story left untold. She closed her eyes, remembering their radiant smiles, their unwavering courage, their selfless dedication. Tears streamed down her face, a mixture of grief and relief, a testament to the profound loss they had endured. Beside her, Zara knelt, her face pale but resolute. The gash on her forehead pulsed gently, a testament to the brutal toll the battle had taken. Despite her own injuries, she remained stoic, her gaze fixed on the shattered remains of the harmonizer. Her silence spoke volumes, a profound acknowledgement of the price of victory. Theron, miraculously unscathed, stumbled towards them, his breathing ragged, his body shaking with exhaustion. He collapsed beside them, his eyes closed, his face a mask of relief and exhaustion. His contribution had been crucial, a silent testament to the power of unwavering determination and unwavering support in the face of insurmountable odds. He had risked his life to provide them with precious seconds, seconds that had ultimately turned the tide of battle. The silence was broken only by the soft whimpers of the wounded and the gentle crackling of the cooling metal. The weight of the moment pressed down on them, the reality of their victory slowly seeping into their weary minds. They had faced an enemy that seemed invincible, a force that threatened to extinguish all hope. Yet, against all odds, they had prevailed. But victory was a bittersweet truth. As the initial shock wore off, the enormity of their accomplishment began to dawn on them. They had defeated the harmonizer, a weapon of unimaginable power, a machine capable of wiping out entire worlds. Their success was a beacon of hope, a testament to their resilience, their courage, and their unwavering belief in the possibility of a brighter future. They had faced down the darkness and emerged victorious. But the victory was far from complete. The aftermath was a harsh reminder of the true cost of war. The chamber was a scene of unimaginable destruction, a testament to the overwhelming power of the harmonizer. The air was still thick with the scent of burnt metal and ozone. The ground was littered with debris, shattered pieces of machinery, and the lifeless forms of the fallen Luminians. Anya stood, her legs still weak but her spirit strong. She surveyed the scene, her heart heavy with grief but her eyes filled with a newfound determination. The fight was won, but the war was far from over. The galaxy needed healing, and they would play their part in rebuilding what had been lost. The task ahead was monumental, the challenges immense, but their victory had instilled within them a strength they never knew they possessed. The remaining Luminians, their lights flickering weakly, gathered around them, their silent vigil a tribute to their fallen comrades. They were exhausted, their energy depleted, but their spirits remained unbroken. They had witnessed the worst of humanity, the darkest depths of the galaxy, yet they stood tall, their unwavering loyalty a beacon of hope in the face of overwhelming despair. Slowly, carefully, they began the arduous task of tending to the wounded. Zara, with her years of medical training, took charge, her hands moving with practiced efficiency. Theron, despite his own exhaustion, assisted where he could, his unwavering support a testament to the strong bonds that had forged between them. Anya joined them, her heart aching for the lost Luminians, yet her determination unwavering. They worked tirelessly, offering comfort, applying bandages, and offering words of encouragement. They had stared into the abyss and survived, they had seen darkness and embraced the light. Their journey was far from over, but they had achieved something truly remarkable. As dawn broke, casting long shadows across the ravaged chamber, a fragile sense of hope began to take root. They had survived. They had prevailed. They had defeated the Harmonizer. The enemy was vanquished, its reign of terror ended. The galaxy, battered and bruised, would now begin the long and difficult process of healing. But they were here, ready to help. The fight for a better future had just begun. The victory was not a celebration, but a somber, quiet moment of reflection and profound gratitude. They paid their respects to the fallen, silently acknowledging their sacrifices. They stood together, united in their shared loss, yet resolute in their shared purpose. The journey would be long and arduous, but they would not falter. They were warriors, survivors, and the defenders of a galaxy desperate for hope. They were the architects of a new dawn, ready to rebuild what had been lost and forge a better future for all. The aftermath of the battle was a crucible where their spirits were forged anew. The trauma they had endured, the sacrifices they had made, served only to strengthen their resolve. They had faced the ultimate test, and they had emerged victorious, not only against a formidable enemy but against the very depths of despair. Their victory was not just a military triumph, it was a testament to the enduring power of hope, friendship, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of a brighter future. They had proven that even in the darkest of times, courage, resilience, and the unwavering support of friends can overcome insurmountable odds. They had shown that the fight for a better future is worth fighting, even when the odds seem impossible. And as they surveyed the wreckage of the fallen Harmonizer, they knew that their journey had only just begun. The galaxy was theirs to rebuild, and they would do so, together, with hearts full of hope and hands ready to work. The long road to recovery lay ahead, but for the first time, they could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and they knew it was a light they would help to create. The sun, a pale disk struggling to pierce the gloom of the shattered chamber, cast long shadows that stretched and writhed like tormented spirits. The air, still thick with the metallic tang of ozone and the lingering scent of burnt flesh, hung heavy and suffocating. It wasn't the victory they had anticipated, it felt less like a triumph and more like a brutal reprieve. The silence, punctuated only by the occasional sigh or the pained whimper of a wounded Luminians, was a stark testament to the battle's brutal cost. Anya traced the outline of a fallen Luminian's hand, its delicate fingers stiff and cold. The ethereal glow that had once illuminated their faces was gone, replaced by the pale stillness of death. Their bodies, scattered amidst the wreckage, seemed to whisper stories of courage and sacrifice, of unwavering loyalty in the face of unimaginable odds. She remembered their laughter, their vibrant energy, the way they had fought with a fierce, almost reckless abandon, their lights burning bright even as they faced oblivion. Now, only the chilling silence remained. Each fallen Luminians felt like a personal loss. Anya felt the weight of their absence with crushing intensity. Their deaths were not just statistics in a war report, they were the silencing of beautiful songs, the extinguishing of radiant stars, the shattering of irreplaceable bonds. She thought of Lyra, whose quick wit and infectious laughter had brightened even the darkest moments of their journey. She thought of Kale, whose quiet strength and unwavering support had been a constant source of comfort. And Alara, whose fierce determination and unwavering loyalty had inspired them all. Each memory, a sharp pang of grief in her heart. Zara, her face etched with sorrow and exhaustion, carefully cleaned a wound on a surviving Luminians. Her movements were precise, her touch gentle, a stark contrast to the violence of the battle that had just ended. She, too, was burdened by the loss. The scars on her forehead, a testament to her own courage, served as a constant reminder of the fragility of life. She knew, intimately, the price of survival. The cost of victory. Theron sat beside them, his usually bright eyes clouded with grief. The silence he usually filled with his quick jokes and witty remarks now contained only the deep sorrow he felt for his fallen friends. He had witnessed their courage, their sacrifice, their unwavering dedication. He had fought alongside them, sharing their laughter and their tears, their hopes and their fears. Now, he was left with only the memories that felt both precious and unbearably painful. The silence was finally broken by a soft sob. It was Alara's younger sister, Kira, her light flickering faintly. She clutched a small, smooth stone, a keepsake from their last peaceful day, a symbol of a world that felt a million miles away from the devastation around them. Anya gently knelt beside her, offering silent comfort, stroking the girl's hair, the warmth of her hand a counterpoint to the chilling cold of the fallen. The other Luminians, their own lights dimmed by the enormity of their loss, formed a silent circle around the fallen. They chanted a low, mournful hymn, their voices barely a whisper, their ethereal glow shimmering like dying embers. The melody was both haunting and beautiful, a tribute to those they had lost, a prayer for their souls. The air hummed with the power of their grief, a collective sorrow that resonated through the shattered chamber. Hours passed in a blur of grief and tending to the wounded. The survivors, both Luminians and humans, worked together, a strange sense of shared purpose binding them amidst their collective sorrow. They shared water, bandages, and words of encouragement. Each act of kindness, each shared gaze, each silent acknowledgement of loss was a balm to their wounded spirits. They were a family, forged in the crucible of battle, their bonds strengthened by the shared experience of loss and survival. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, somber shadows across the chamber, the team gathered around the fallen Luminians. They had built a makeshift memorial, using salvaged metal scraps and the remaining energy crystals to create a flickering tribute. Anya, her voice trembling with emotion, spoke of the fallen, their courage, their sacrifice, their unwavering loyalty. Each story, each memory, was a testament to their bravery, their strength, and their friendship. They remained there for hours, until the first rays of dawn kissed the horizon, illuminating the wreckage and casting a pallor over the faces of the living and the dead. The quiet morning had taken its toll, and the weight of the loss was profound. But as the light grew stronger, a sliver of hope flickered within their hearts. They had faced the impossible, overcome insurmountable odds, and emerged victorious. The victory was bitter, tinged with sorrow, but it was still a victory. And as they stood together, united in their grief, they also stood together in their determination to rebuild, to heal, to honor the sacrifice of their fallen comrades by forging a better future for all. The weight of their shared loss continued to hang heavy, yet there was a new purpose that started to emerge from the collective mourning. They had shared a profound experience, each individual strengthened by their connection to one another and the Luminians. There was a new respect and reverence that solidified their bond, an unspoken understanding that passed between them, born from a shared trauma. Zara meticulously documented the injuries and treatment of each surviving Luminians, her notes a testament to both the devastation and resilience witnessed. Her skills weren't merely practical, they provided a sense of order amidst chaos, a counterpoint to the disarray left by the battle. Theron, always the pragmatist, quietly began organizing the efforts to salvage usable materials from the wreckage, his actions a quiet display of purpose amid the grief. His hands, calloused from past work, moved steadily amidst the debris, his silent actions conveying the quiet resolve that had always characterized him. Anya spent time with Kira, gently sharing memories of Alara, comforting the girl with stories of her sister's laughter and kindness. These were not just memories of death, but celebrations of a life lived fully and bravely. The memories were precious, keeping Alara's spirit alive in the hearts of those who loved her. The process of recovery was slow, filled with quiet moments of reflection, quiet conversations, and shared glances that spoke volumes. They continued their mourning, but now, there was a layer of acceptance over it, a recognition that the path to healing wouldn't erase the pain but would allow them to carry the memory of their fallen companions with them, a reminder of their strength and sacrifice. The shared sorrow served as a catalyst for a deeper bond between the remaining members of the team. Their shared experiences, their collective mourning, had bound them together in a way that words could not express. They had seen the darkness, faced death, and emerged stronger, united in their commitment to continue the fight for a better galaxy. Their victory was bittersweet, a testament to their courage and resilience, but also a painful reminder of the cost of war. Yet, amidst the devastation, a flicker of hope ignited, fueled by their shared grief, their shared determination, and their unwavering belief in a brighter future. They would rebuild, not just the physical world around them, but also their own shattered spirits, and remember those who made their victory possible, carrying their legacy forward into a future still awaiting them. Their journey was far from over, but they faced it, together, stronger and more united than ever before. The first rays of dawn painted the ravaged chamber in hues of gray and rose, illuminating the debris field that was once a vibrant Luminian sanctuary. The air, still heavy with the scent of ozone and burnt energy crystals, held a new stillness, a fragile peace settling over the scene of carnage. The rhythmic chanting of the Luminians had ceased, replaced by a hushed solemnity. Yet, within the quiet, a new energy stirred, a quiet determination to rebuild, to heal, to honor the fallen. Kira, Alara's sister, slept nestled amongst the survivors, her small form a fragile testament to the resilience of life. Anya sat beside her, watching the girl's chest rise and fall, a silent vigil that mirrored the collective mourning of the group. The weight of Alara's absence was a physical ache, a constant reminder of the brutal cost of their victory. But Anya knew that to truly honor Alara's memory, they couldn't remain frozen in grief. They had to move forward, to build a future worthy of her sacrifice. Zara, ever practical, had established a makeshift infirmary within a section of the chamber relatively untouched by the blast. Her hands, nimble and precise, moved with practiced efficiency, tending to the wounded. She meticulously cleaned and dressed wounds, her calm demeanor a beacon of hope amidst the devastation. Her medical kit, salvaged from the wreckage, was supplemented by Luminian's healing crystals, their gentle glow a soothing counterpoint to the harsh reality of their surroundings. Each successful treatment was a small victory, a tangible step towards recovery. She documented every injury, every treatment, every response, her meticulous notes a testament to her dedication and a crucial resource for future care. Beyond the physical healing, Zara recognized the importance of emotional support. She spoke softly to the wounded, offering words of comfort and reassurance, her presence a calming influence in the tense atmosphere. Theron, usually a whirlwind of energy and quick wit, moved with a quiet purpose. He was organizing the salvage efforts, his hands, usually quick with a jest, now worked tirelessly to gather usable materials from the wreckage. He sorted through twisted metal, shattered energy conduits, and remnants of Luminian's technology, separating what could be salvaged from what was beyond repair. The methodical process was therapeutic, a way to channel his grief into productive action. His usual quick humor was subdued, replaced by a quiet determination to ensure that their loss wouldn't be in vain. He knew that rebuilding their physical surroundings was a crucial step toward healing their emotional wounds. The act of restoring order from chaos was a powerful symbol of hope. The task was daunting. The chamber, once a sanctuary of light and beauty, was now a landscape of destruction. But the survivors, human and Luminians alike, worked together, their shared grief forging a bond of camaraderie stronger than any alliance. They cleared debris, salvaged materials, and helped one another, their actions a testament to their resilience and their shared commitment to rebuilding. The rebuilding wasn't just about restoring the physical space, it was about rebuilding their lives, their spirits, their hope. The Luminians, their ethereal glow dimmed but not extinguished, worked alongside the humans, their gentle nature a balm to the wounds of both body and soul. Their collective mourning was palpable, yet there was a quiet strength in their shared efforts. They chanted softly as they worked, their melodic voices a haunting yet beautiful tribute to their fallen comrades. The songs served not only as a memorial, but also as a source of strength and unity, binding them together as they faced the arduous task ahead. Days blurred into weeks, the process of rebuilding as slow and painstaking as the healing of their emotional wounds. The physical reconstruction progressed steadily, but the emotional healing was a more elusive and complex process. Group therapy sessions, facilitated by Zara's calm and supportive presence, became an essential part of their recovery. They shared their experiences, their fears, and their grief in a safe and supportive environment. The sessions were not only a space for catharsis but also a reminder that they were not alone in their pain. The humans, initially outsiders in the Luminians' culture, found themselves deeply connected to their ethereal companions. Their shared experiences, the battles fought side by side, the collective mourning, all had forged an unbreakable bond. The cultural differences that once seemed insurmountable had faded into insignificance, replaced by a shared understanding of loss and a mutual determination to rebuild. Anya, despite her own grief, became a guiding light for Kira. She shared stories of Alara, not just focusing on her death but emphasizing the joy and kindness that had defined her life. She spoke of Alara's infectious laughter, her unwavering spirit, her fierce loyalty, memories that kept Alara's essence alive in their hearts. Anya also encouraged Kira to participate in the rebuilding process, to channel her grief into constructive action, to find purpose in honoring her sister's memory. The little stone Kira clutched became a symbol of their shared memories, a tangible link to the past that helped them navigate the challenging present. The rebuilding of the chamber was more than just bricks and mortar. It was a symbolic act, a testament to their resilience, a tangible representation of their hope for the future. Every piece of salvaged metal, every repaired energy conduit, every restored crystal, each represented a small step towards healing. It was a process of reclaiming their lives, their space, their future from the devastation of war. As the weeks turned into months, the chamber began to resemble its former glory. The scars of the battle remained, visible reminders of the sacrifices made, but the atmosphere was transformed. The energy of grief had given way to a quiet strength, a shared determination to build a better future. The shared trauma had forged an unbreakable bond between them. Their victory was bittersweet, but the seeds of a brighter future had been planted. They would honor the memory of their fallen comrades by building a world worthy of their sacrifices. Their journey, fraught with loss and grief, had also been a journey of healing, of growth, and ultimately, of hope. The rebuilding of the chamber was a reflection of their own inner healing, a testament to their resilience, and a beacon of hope in a galaxy still grappling with the scars of war. The celebration wasn't a grand spectacle of fireworks and fanfare. The Luminians, inherently peaceful, honored their fallen in a way that felt deeply personal and profoundly moving. In the heart of the rebuilt chamber, now bathed in the soft, ethereal glow of repaired Luminians crystals, a small ceremony took place. No speeches were given, no grand proclamations made. Instead, there was a quiet solemnity, a shared acknowledgement of the sacrifices made and the victories won. Anya, Zara, and Theron found themselves at the center of a circle formed by both the remaining Luminians and the human survivors. Each survivor, human and Luminians alike, approached in turn, their expressions filled with gratitude and respect. There were no words exchanged, only gentle touches, nods of understanding, and a shared silence that spoke volumes. The Luminians, their eyes shimmering with an otherworldly light, placed small, intricately carved stones into Anya's hands. Each stone represented a fallen Luminian's warrior, a tangible symbol of their sacrifice and their enduring spirit. The stones felt warm to the touch, pulsing with a gentle energy that resonated with Anya's own deep sense of loss and gratitude. Zara received a similar tribute, smaller crystals, each infused with Luminian's healing energy, a recognition of her tireless efforts in tending to the wounded. The crystals glowed softly in her hands, a tangible reminder of the lives she had saved. She accepted them with a humble nod, her heart filled with a mix of gratitude and sorrow. She had done what she could, but the memory of the fallen still weighed heavily upon her. Theron, ever the pragmatist, received a collection of salvaged Luminian's technology components, meticulously cleaned and repaired. These weren't just pieces of technology, but symbols of his ingenuity and resilience. They represented his role in ensuring their survival, in turning the remnants of destruction into the tools for rebuilding. He accepted them with a quiet smile, acknowledging their significance. The act of rebuilding had been as important as the battle itself, a testament to their collective strength. He understood that their true victory was not just in defeating the enemy but in their ability to rise from the ashes, to rebuild, to create a better future from the devastation. Kira, still shy and withdrawn, received a single, perfectly smooth Luminian stone from Anya, a silent acknowledgement of her own courage and resilience. The stone was cool to the touch, a stark contrast to the warm stones Anya had received, yet it felt comforting in its simplicity. It was a promise of hope, a symbol of her shared connection with Alara, and a reminder of their ongoing journey towards healing and finding a new purpose. It was an unspoken confirmation that her life held value, a life that deserved to be lived fully, even in the face of tragedy. The recognition extended beyond the immediate group. News of their bravery and their resilience spread throughout the surrounding systems. They received messages of support, commendations for their bravery, and offers of aid in the rebuilding process. These messages were not merely words, but a tangible expression of solidarity, a reminder that they were not alone in their struggle. This outpouring of support was a testament to the profound impact of their actions, not only on their immediate community but on the wider galaxy. The rebuilding of the chamber proceeded at a faster pace, fueled by both the physical and emotional support that flowed in from distant systems. The work was still arduous, demanding, and physically taxing, but the spirit of the community was unbroken. The collective sense of purpose fostered by the shared experience of loss and recovery strengthened their bonds. They discovered new levels of trust, mutual support, and shared strength they never knew they possessed. This victory was a turning point, a symbol of hope, not just for themselves, but also for the greater galactic community. As the structure took shape, the survivors began to create community spaces within its walls. A small library was established, filled with salvaged books and scrolls, providing a quiet sanctuary for reflection and contemplation. A training ground was established, where both humans and Luminians honed their skills, preparing for future challenges. And most importantly, the creation of common spaces within the rebuilt chamber provided places for sharing, storytelling, healing, and recovery, weaving a tapestry of new experiences that strengthened their emotional bonds. These spaces served as a reminder of their hard-fought victory and the importance of rebuilding not just their physical surroundings, but their community itself. The scars of the battle remained, visible reminders of the sacrifices made, yet they served as symbols of resilience, symbols of the shared experience that had forged an unbreakable bond. The wounds were physical and emotional, but the spirit of hope was unwavering. Their shared experience forged an incredible bond, not only between humans and Luminians but also within the community itself. They understood that true strength comes not just from combat prowess but from unity, from shared purpose, and from a determination to build a better world from the ashes of destruction. Even months later, as the rebuilt chamber shone brighter than ever before, the memory of Alara remained a potent presence. But it was no longer a presence of grief alone. Alara's memory was intertwined with stories of her courage, her kindness, her infectious laughter. Anya made sure that Kira's memories were filled with joy, love and laughter rather than just the pain of loss. Every Luminian stone Kira held was a reminder of her sister's life, her vibrant spirit, her unwavering kindness. Kira, initially consumed by grief, slowly blossomed. The shared act of rebuilding, the shared experience of mourning and recovery, had healed not only the physical wounds but also her spirit. She started to participate more actively in the daily life of the community, finding purpose in her work. Her interactions with the other survivors were warm, and a smile often graced her lips, a testament to her ongoing recovery and resilience. The victory was not merely a military achievement, but a triumph of the human spirit, a testament to their ability to endure, to adapt, and to rebuild. The reconstruction of the chamber was a microcosm of that larger triumph. The integration of Luminian's technologies with human engineering created a space that was both beautiful and functional, a testament to the power of collaboration and shared vision. Anya, Zara, and Theron, initially outsiders in this world, had become integral members of the community. Their leadership, their contributions, and their willingness to heal and rebuild, cemented their place as heroes, not because of titles or accolades, but because of their actions, their compassion, and their unwavering commitment to the future. They understood that true heroism lay not only in battle, but in the quiet, often unseen acts of healing and rebuilding, in the unwavering commitment to community, and in the persistent pursuit of hope in the face of despair. Their journey had been a harrowing one, but it had ultimately been a transformative journey that reshaped not only their lives, but also the lives of all those around them. Their story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the resilient spirit of humanity and a testament to the extraordinary power of shared grief and shared healing. It served as a reminder that even in the face of insurmountable odds, hope can bloom, even after the darkest night. They had found victory, but they also found a far deeper, more profound victory, the victory of community, the victory of healing, and the victory of hope. The soft glow of the repaired Luminian's crystals bathed the rebuilt chamber in a gentle, ethereal light. It was a far cry from the devastation they had witnessed just months before, a testament to their collective strength and unwavering determination. The air hummed with a quiet energy, a palpable sense of peace that settled over the assembled humans and Luminians. This wasn't just the peace of an absence of war, it was a deeper peace, born from shared grief, shared healing, and a shared vision for the future. Anya, standing beside Theron and Zara, felt a wave of emotion wash over her. The weight of responsibility, the burden of leadership, seemed to lighten. The stones, each a tiny memorial to a fallen Luminian's warrior, still warmed her hands, a constant reminder of the cost of their victory. But tonight, the sorrow was tempered by a profound sense of hope. The future, once shrouded in uncertainty, now shimmered with possibility. Zara, her usually pragmatic face softened, watched Kira interact with a group of children. Kira, once so withdrawn, now laughed easily, her face radiant with a newfound joy. The small Luminian's crystals, gifts of healing and remembrance, still glowed faintly in her pocket, a silent testament to her journey from despair to hope. The healing hadn't been instantaneous, it had been a slow, arduous process, a journey of small steps and gradual healing. But it had been a journey well worth the effort, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. Theron, ever the observer, surveyed the scene with a quiet satisfaction. The salvaged Luminian's technology, the tools of their rebuilding efforts, were now integrated seamlessly into the structure of the chamber. The result was a fusion of human ingenuity and Luminian's technology, a harmonious blend of aesthetics and functionality that spoke volumes about their collaboration. The new structure was not merely a replacement, it was a testament to their innovative spirit, a beacon of hope and resilience. It represented more than bricks and mortar, it represented the embodiment of their shared dream, a vision of a better future forged in the crucible of war. The rebuilding process had been a microcosm of their journey. It had started with rubble and despair, and it had transformed into something beautiful and functional, a space where hope could blossom. Each stone laid, each beam erected, each circuit wired had been an act of faith, a step towards a brighter future. The shared labor, the common purpose, had woven an unbreakable bond between the human and Luminian survivors, forging a community where differences were celebrated, not feared. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, the new community thrived. The library, a sanctuary of knowledge and quiet contemplation, became a hub of learning and shared experiences. The training grounds, once a place of grim preparation for battle, were now a place of growth and skill sharpening, fostering both individual improvement and collaborative teamwork. The common spaces within the rebuilt chamber buzzed with activity. The laughter of children mingled with the murmur of conversation, creating a vibrant, harmonious atmosphere. The Luminians, renowned for their peaceful nature, embraced their newfound partnership with humanity. They shared their knowledge, their technology, and their deep-seated wisdom, creating a society where different cultures intertwined and flourished. They taught the humans new farming techniques that restored the damaged lands surrounding the chamber, creating a sustainable ecosystem. They shared their art, their music, and their stories, enriching the community with a vibrant tapestry of culture and tradition. This partnership wasn't just a coexistence, it was a symbiotic relationship, a mutually beneficial alliance forged in the fires of adversity. News of their success spread like wildfire throughout the galaxy. Other systems, once hesitant or fearful, now extended their hands in friendship and support. Trade routes were re-established, and the flow of goods and ideas revitalized the region. The rebuilding of the chamber wasn't just a local success, it became a symbol of hope for the entire galactic community, a beacon of resilience in a sometimes turbulent galaxy. Their story, their shared struggle, and their ultimate victory resonated far and wide, inspiring others to overcome their own challenges. Anya, Zara, and Theron, once burdened by the weight of the world, now found solace in their shared success. They had not only saved a people but had also forged a new era, an era of peace and prosperity. They understood that true heroism wasn't measured in the number of battles won, but in the number of lives touched, in the amount of hope instilled, and in the legacy left behind. Their leadership, their compassion, and their unwavering dedication to the community had solidified their status as heroes, not just in the eyes of the Luminians and humans who had survived the battle but throughout the wider galaxy. Their victory hadn't just brought an end to the conflict, it had ushered in a new age of understanding and cooperation between different species. The shared experience of war, the collective effort to heal and rebuild, had fostered a deep sense of empathy and unity that extended far beyond the immediate community. This was more than just peace, it was a profound transformation, a rebirth of hope in a galaxy that often seemed to be teetering on the brink of chaos. The scars of war remained, both physical and emotional, but they were now a testament to their resilience, reminders of the sacrifices made and the victories won. The rebuilt chamber wasn't simply a place, it was a living symbol of their journey, a journey from devastation to hope, from despair to triumph, from loss to healing. It was a tangible representation of the power of collaboration, the strength of unity, and the enduring spirit of the human and Luminians' hearts. And in the heart of it all, Alara's memory lived on, not as a symbol of grief, but as a source of inspiration, a reminder of the courage, kindness, and unwavering spirit that had defined her life. Alara's memory, now infused with stories of laughter and love, became a vital part of their shared history, shaping their future and ensuring that her legacy would forever be intertwined with the dawn of their new era. Anya saw to it that Kira kept Alara's memory alive with cherished memories, creating a vibrant tapestry of joy, love, and fond recollections. Kira, no longer consumed by grief, embraced life with a newfound enthusiasm. The community, now a vibrant tapestry of diverse cultures and experiences, embraced her as one of their own. Her laughter echoed through the common spaces, a testament to her healing and a symbol of their collective triumph. Her journey from grief to healing reflected the community's larger transformation, a testament to the incredible resilience of the human spirit and the profound healing power of community. The future stretched before them, full of challenges and uncertainties, yet the heroes of this new era approached it with courage, hope, and a profound understanding of the power of unity, resilience, and the unwavering belief in a brighter tomorrow. They had won not just a battle, but a war against despair, forging a future built on the foundations of shared grief, shared healing, and shared hope, a new era born from the ashes of destruction. Their story became a legend, a testament to the extraordinary capacity of the human spirit to overcome adversity and build a better world from the wreckage of the past. Chapter 14, Lessons Learned. The rhythmic pulse of the rebuilt Luminian's chamber faded into the background as Deku sat alone, the faint glow of the crystals barely illuminating his pensive face. He traced the worn leather of his journal, the cover softened by countless hours spent pouring out his thoughts and fears. The recent victory, the hard-fought peace, felt surreal, a stark contrast to the relentless battles that had defined his life for so long. He had stared into the abyss, faced unimaginable loss, and emerged, battered but unbroken. But the fight hadn't only been against external forces, a silent, internal battle had raged within him, a struggle to reconcile his past self with the hero he was becoming. He flipped through the worn pages, each entry a snapshot of his journey, a young boy, overwhelmed by his quirklessness, ostracized, bullied, yet fueled by an unwavering dream. He recalled the burning humiliation, the crushing weight of expectation, the relentless self-doubt that had threatened to consume him. Those were the darkest days, the times when his spirit had felt most fragile, most vulnerable. Yet, even then, a tiny ember of hope had flickered, a stubborn refusal to surrender to despair. His memories drifted to All Might, his mentor, his guiding star. The sheer strength of his presence, the unwavering belief in Deku's potential, had been a lifeline. All Might had seen something in him, something others hadn't, a spark of heroism that Deku himself had nearly extinguished. The training, grueling and relentless, had pushed him to his limits, forcing him to confront not only his physical weaknesses but also the deep-seated insecurities that held him back. The lessons weren't just about mastering his quirk, they were about mastering himself, about cultivating the resilience and determination needed to overcome any obstacle. Deku remembered his first tentative steps as a hero, the shaky confidence, the mistakes, the moments of self-doubt that threatened to unravel his progress. He recalled his victories, small and large, each one a testament to his growing strength and experience. He thought of the battles against villains, the terrifying power of his opponents, the constant risk of failure, the ever-present threat of death. Each encounter had been a crucible, forging him into something stronger, more resilient, more determined. But it wasn't just the physical battles that had shaped him. The emotional battles, the struggles against his own inner demons, had been just as arduous, just as crucial to his growth. He reflected on the profound impact of his friendships, the unwavering loyalty of Uraka, the strategic brilliance of Ida, the unwavering support of Todoroki, the fierce protectiveness of Bakugo, even in his own unique way. These connections, forged in the fires of adversity, had been his anchors, the source of his strength when he felt ready to crumble. They had shown him the true meaning of teamwork, the importance of trust, and the power of shared purpose. They'd taught him that strength wasn't just about physical prowess, but also about the strength of bonds that connected people together. His journey hadn't been linear, it had been a winding path, full of setbacks and triumphs. He had stumbled, he had fallen, he had been tempted to give up. But each failure had been a lesson, each setback a catalyst for growth. He'd learned to embrace his vulnerabilities, to acknowledge his fears, and to transform them into fuel for his determination. He had learned that true strength wasn't about invincibility, but about the ability to get back up, no matter how many times he fell. He understood that heroism wasn't about perfection, but about unwavering compassion and dedication, about the courageous will to never give up on what you believe in, even if that belief in yourself feels fragile at times. Deku realized that his greatest victories hadn't been measured in the number of villains he had defeated but in the personal growth he had achieved. He had learned to value not only his own strength but the strength of those around him. He had learned the importance of empathy, compassion, and understanding. He had learned the true meaning of sacrifice and the importance of selflessness, putting the safety and well-being of others before his own. He thought about the lives he had saved, the people he had helped, the hope he had inspired. These were the true measures of his success, the tangible results of his journey, the echoes of his impact that would resonate long after the battles were over. He had faced the darkest shadows, and yet, he had emerged with an even brighter light within him, a testament to his capacity for resilience, hope, and his unwavering belief in a better future. He had learned that the greatest battle wasn't against external enemies, but against the inner demons that held people back and fueled their anxieties. It was a relentless fight that continued, not only for him, but for all people, a battle to build a better future out of the ashes of the past. The weight of his past, once a burden, now felt like a foundation, a source of strength. He had learned to carry his scars, not as marks of defeat, but as symbols of his perseverance, reminders of how far he had come, proof that his dreams were worth fighting for. He understood that heroism wasn't a destination but a continuous journey of self-discovery, a lifelong commitment to growth, and an unwavering belief in the power of hope. He closed his journal, a sense of peace settling over him. The future was still unwritten, full of challenges and uncertainties. But he was ready. He was ready to face whatever came next, armed not only with his strength and skills, but also with the wisdom and resilience he had gained along the way. He was prepared to fight for peace not only with his quirk, but with the strength of his spirit, a strength that had been refined and tempered throughout his trials and tribulations, making him a true hero not because of his quirk alone, but because of his unwavering heart and his unyielding belief in a better world. He was Deku, and he was ready. The fight continued, but now, he fought not just for himself, but for the future of everyone he'd helped, inspired, and had fought alongside. The weight of their shared hopes, their collective dreams, were now his own, and in that, he found both immense responsibility and an even more powerful reason to keep fighting, not only for himself but for all of them. The journey had tested him, but he had emerged stronger, more courageous, more resolute, and he would continue onward, always, striving to be the best hero he could possibly be. His growth wasn't simply personal, it was a beacon of hope for the world. The quiet hum of the rebuilt Luminian's chamber still resonated faintly, a subtle counterpoint to the thoughts swirling in Deku's mind. He'd spent hours reflecting on his journey, the weight of past battles and triumphs settling into a profound sense of understanding. He'd faced down villains with terrifying power, endured physical and emotional torment, but the most impactful lessons weren't learned in solitary combat. They were forged in the crucible of teamwork, in the shared struggles and victories with his friends. He thought of Uraka, her unwavering optimism a constant source of light even in the darkest hours. Her strength, not just in her quirk but in her unwavering belief in him, had been a lifeline countless times. He remembered her anxiousness during their early training, her struggle to master her own abilities, her moments of self-doubt. But through it all, she never faltered in her support, her encouragement, her faith in his abilities and theirs collectively. She had pushed him to be better, to be stronger, and to never give up on their shared dreams. Their collaboration extended beyond the battlefield, too. He recalled their strategic discussions, the way she could anticipate his movements and adjust her own tactics to complement his strengths, covering his weaknesses with her own unique abilities. It wasn't just about combined strength, it was about a seamless synergy, a dance of coordinated efforts where the whole was far greater than the sum of its parts. Then there was Ida, the ever-rational strategist, whose meticulous planning and unwavering dedication often turned the tide of battle. His analytical mind, his commitment to justice, and his unwavering loyalty had saved them countless times. Ida's precise calculations, his detailed strategies, and his ability to anticipate his opponent's moves were integral to their successes. He had taught Deku the importance of foresight and the value of planning, not only in combat but in everyday life. Their different approaches, Deku's impulsive bravery and Ida's calculated strategy, often seemed contradictory, but when combined, they formed a perfect counterpoint, balancing each other's strengths and weaknesses. He remembered specifically one intense battle where Ida's detailed plan had allowed Deku to exploit a critical weakness in the enemy's formation, leading to a decisive victory that had seemed impossible. It was a testament to the power of diversity of thought and skill within a team. Todoroki, with his complex past and quiet strength, had taught Deku the importance of embracing his inner demons and finding redemption through selfless actions. Todoroki's struggles resonated deeply with Deku, reminding him that even the most formidable heroes carry their own burdens. Their shared struggle, their mutual understanding, and the silent support they offered each other fueled a unique bond, a bond that transcended simple friendship and evolved into a testament to the power of empathy and understanding within a team. He remembered how Todoroki's mastery of fire and ice provided a unique balance to his own quirk, creating unexpected synergies that overwhelmed enemies they could not have faced alone. Their collaboration wasn't just about combining powers, but about a mutual respect and understanding that allowed them to predict each other's actions and support one another through thick and thin. Even Bakugo, with his explosive personality and fierce rivalry, had played a crucial role in Deku's growth. Bakugo's competitive spirit pushed Deku to his limits, forcing him to constantly strive for improvement. His harsh words, while often painful, served as a catalyst, driving Deku to surpass his own limitations. Bakugo's competitive spirit, though initially abrasive, ultimately proved to be a hidden asset. Their rivalry forged a strange kind of mutual respect, a tacit acknowledgement of each other's strength. Their combined power had more than once tipped the scales of victory in their favor, their unique quirks complementing each other in unexpected ways. Deku remembered the countless training sessions, the brutal sparring matches, where Bakugo pushed him beyond his limits, honing his skills and reinforcing his resolve. Their relationship, despite its complexities, was a testament to the unexpected benefits of diverse personalities within a team. Deku realized that teamwork wasn't simply about combined power, it was about trust, understanding, and mutual support. It was about embracing individual strengths and weaknesses, leveraging diversity to achieve a shared goal. It was about recognizing that even the smallest contribution could make a monumental difference. He understood now that his individual skills, while powerful, were only part of the equation. The real strength lay in the collective power of the team, the synergy of their combined abilities, the shared burden and shared victory. He recalled countless instances where their individual strengths combined to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. He remembered the coordinated attacks, the strategic retreats, the perfectly timed interventions, moments where their unique skills, when combined, created a force greater than the sum of its parts. They'd learned to adapt to each other's styles, anticipate each other's moves, and cover each other's weaknesses. It wasn't about individual glory, but about collective triumph. Their teamwork had extended beyond the battlefield, into their everyday lives. They'd supported each other through personal struggles, celebrated each other's triumphs, and offered comfort during times of despair. Their shared experiences, their mutual understanding, had created bonds that were unbreakable, a foundation of trust that allowed them to face any challenge, no matter how daunting. They were more than just a team, they were a family, bound together by shared purpose, mutual respect, and unwavering loyalty. Deku understood now that his journey wasn't just his own, it was the culmination of their collective efforts, their shared struggles, their mutual support. He had learned that true strength wasn't solely about individual prowess, but about the power of collaboration, the strength found in unity, the resilience fostered by shared experiences and unwavering support. He looked out towards the Luminian's chamber, its gentle light reflecting in his eyes. The lessons learned weren't just about defeating villains, they were about understanding the true meaning of teamwork, the strength found in unity, and the profound impact of shared purpose. The battles had tested them, but they had emerged stronger, their bonds forged in the fires of adversity, a testament to the enduring power of teamwork and friendship. The future remained uncertain, but Deku felt a renewed sense of hope, knowing that he wouldn't face it alone. He had his team, his family, his friends, and that was a strength greater than any quirk he possessed. The fight for a better future continued, but now, he knew, he wasn't fighting alone. He was part of something bigger, stronger, and more enduring, a team united by a shared purpose and an unwavering commitment to a brighter tomorrow. The strength of their bond was his shield, his sword, his hope, a testament to the incredible power of teamwork. And that, he realized, was the greatest lesson he had learned. The setting sun cast long shadows across the training grounds, painting the familiar landscape in hues of orange and purple. Deku sat alone, the worn leather of his gloves a comforting weight in his hands. The echoes of recent battles, the screams of defeated villains, the cheers of victorious allies, all faded into a quiet hum, a low thrumming beneath the surface of his thoughts. He wasn't dwelling on the physical scars, the aches and pains that were a constant reminder of his arduous journey. Instead, he was grappling with something far more profound, the enduring power of hope. He had witnessed the crushing weight of despair, the soul-crushing fear that threatened to engulf even the strongest among them. He'd seen his friends teeter on the brink of collapse, their spirits battered by relentless attacks, their bodies ravaged by brutal battles. Yet, time and again, they had risen. They had clawed their way back from the precipice, their determination fueled by an unshakable belief in a brighter tomorrow. That belief, that unwavering hope, had been the invisible shield protecting them from the crushing darkness, the guiding light illuminating their path through the storm. He thought of All Might, his mentor, his symbol of hope, his beacon of light in the darkest of times. The weight of the world had rested on All Might's shoulders, the burden of protecting an entire city, a nation, a world. He'd carried that weight with grace, with unwavering courage, his smile a testament to his indomitable spirit. Even when his power had waned, his spirit hadn't faltered. He'd passed the torch, not with a sigh of relief, but with a quiet confidence in Deku's ability to carry on his legacy, a testament to the enduring power of hope passed down from one generation to the next. The memory of All Might's final battle, the devastating loss that seemed to plunge the world into chaos, brought a pang of sadness. Yet, even in that moment of despair, a spark of hope had remained. It flickered at first, a tiny flame in the overwhelming darkness, but it grew steadily stronger, fueled by the collective determination of those who refused to surrender. They hadn't wallowed in despair, they had channeled their grief, their anger, their sorrow into a powerful force, a drive to rebuild, to protect, to overcome. That was the true essence of heroism, Deku realized, not the absence of fear, but the courage to face it, not the absence of pain, but the resilience to overcome it, not the absence of doubt, but the unwavering faith to persevere. Hope wasn't a naive optimism, it was a courageous defiance in the face of adversity, a refusal to succumb to despair, a steadfast belief in the power of human potential. He remembered the countless nights spent training, pushing himself beyond his limits, his body screaming in protest, his mind wrestling with doubt. There were times when he felt utterly overwhelmed, when the weight of responsibility seemed too heavy to bear. Yet, the image of his friends, their faces filled with determination and unwavering support, had always pulled him back from the brink. Their faith in him, their belief in his potential, had fueled his own hope, giving him the strength to continue. The journey had been filled with sacrifices, with losses, with moments of profound despair. They'd faced villains with unimaginable powers, battled against overwhelming odds, and endured losses that left gaping wounds in their hearts. But through it all, their shared belief in a brighter future, in the possibility of a better tomorrow, had been their unwavering compass. He thought of the countless innocent lives they'd saved, the smiles on the faces of those they'd protected. Those moments, those brief glimpses of happiness and peace, were the rewards that sustained them, the fuel that ignited their hope. It wasn't just about saving lives, it was about protecting the very essence of hope itself, preserving the belief that even in the darkest of times, good could prevail. The power of hope wasn't a magical force, it wasn't a mystical power. It was a choice, a conscious decision to believe in the possibility of a better future, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. It was the strength to keep fighting, even when all hope seemed lost. It was the resilience to rise again, stronger and more determined than before. He recalled a specific instance during one of their most perilous battles. Surrounded by enemies, their backs against the wall, the weight of defeat pressing down heavily, the feeling of surrender threatened to overwhelm them. It was Uraka, her face pale with exhaustion, who had spoken, her voice barely a whisper, "We can do this. We have to." Those simple words, spoken with unwavering conviction, had reignited the flickering embers of hope within their hearts. They were not only a declaration of their resolve, but a testament to the power of hope, a beacon shining through the encroaching darkness. That unwavering faith, that resolute spirit, that unflinching belief in the possibility of victory, that was what had turned the tide of battle. It wasn't their individual powers, however impressive, it was their collective hope, their shared determination, their unshakable belief in each other that had led them to victory. They fought not only for survival, but for the preservation of hope itself, a symbol of resilience against the encroaching darkness. Their combined strength was not just physical, it was the embodiment of an unbreakable spirit, a collective refusal to surrender to despair. Deku understood now that the true measure of heroism wasn't just about defeating villains, it was about inspiring hope, fostering resilience, and illuminating the path towards a brighter future. It was about carrying the torch of hope, passing it on to others, ensuring that its flame would never be extinguished. It was about embracing the power of perseverance, the strength of belief, and the unwavering commitment to a better tomorrow. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting the training grounds in shadows, but the light of hope burned brightly in Deku's heart. He knew the path ahead would be challenging, filled with unforeseen obstacles and relentless adversaries. But he wouldn't face them alone. He had his friends, his family, his team, his unwavering source of strength, his unyielding wellspring of hope. He was ready. He was prepared. He was filled with the hope that had seen him through countless trials, the same hope that would guide him towards a brighter future, a future where the light would always outshine the darkness. The journey would continue, but he would face whatever came with unwavering determination and a heart ablaze with the powerful, enduring light of hope. The battles would continue, but he would never cease to believe in the ultimate triumph of good over evil, a victory fueled by the unwavering strength of hope. And that, he knew, was a power greater than any quirk, a strength that would endure long after the final battle was won. The cool night air bit at Deku's exposed skin as he continued to sit on the training grounds, the silence broken only by the chirping of crickets. The weight of the world, or at least the weight of his responsibility within it, pressed down on him, a physical burden almost as heavy as the training regimen he'd endured countless times. It wasn't the physical exhaustion that plagued him now, but a deeper, more pervasive weariness. It was the weight of knowing that countless lives rested on his shoulders, the silent promise he'd made to himself, to All Might, to his friends, to protect the innocent, to uphold justice, to embody hope. He'd seen the raw, unfiltered terror in the eyes of civilians caught in the crossfire, the silent pleading in their gazes as villains wreaked havoc around them. He remembered the chilling satisfaction that twisted the faces of his enemies, the cold calculation in their eyes as they wielded their destructive powers, indifferent to the suffering they caused. Those images, those memories, played on repeat in the back of his mind, a haunting soundtrack to the quiet night. The burden of protecting others was not a cloak of invincibility, it was a heavy mantle, woven with the threads of fear, anxiety, and the ever-present threat of failure. He'd dreamt of saving the world, of becoming a symbol of hope, and he'd achieved that dream, but the reality was far more complex, far more demanding, and far more terrifying. The exhilaration of victory often gave way to the chilling realization that the next villain, the next crisis, was always just around the corner. He thought back to his early days, the clumsy kid with a dream, the underdog who defied all odds. That Deku felt like a distant memory, a ghost of his former self. He'd blossomed into a powerful hero, honing his abilities, mastering his quirk, but the journey had taken its toll. The cheerful optimism he'd once possessed was now tempered with a seasoned understanding of the darkness that lurked in the hearts of men, the ever-present possibility of defeat. He'd witnessed the devastating effects of despair firsthand. He'd seen Uraka's unwavering spirit almost crumble under the weight of a particularly brutal battle, the crushing burden of loss weighing heavily on her shoulders. He remembered seeing the same fragility, the same vulnerability in Ida, the unwavering stoicism he normally projected cracking under immense emotional stress. He'd even seen it in Todoroki, his cool, detached demeanor momentarily shattered by the raw, unfiltered pain of his past. Their vulnerability reminded him that heroes weren't impervious to suffering, that they too felt the sting of defeat, the weight of sorrow, the burden of responsibility. It wasn't just the weight of saving lives, it was the weight of the constant vigilance, the persistent need to be ready, the unending pressure to perform. Every moment off duty was filled with the nagging feeling that something could go wrong, that disaster could strike at any moment. The constant pressure to be perfect, to never fail, was a heavy burden to bear. He often found himself questioning his capabilities, second-guessing his decisions, wrestling with the fear that he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't strong enough, that he might fail to protect those who relied on him. He'd seen All Might's sacrifice, witnessed the fading of a symbol, the depletion of a legend. The passing of the torch had felt like a crushing weight added to his already heavy burden. He'd felt the pressure to uphold All Might's legacy, to continue his work, to inspire hope in a world that desperately needed it. He carried the mantle of the symbol of peace, but the reality was that the mantle chafed, weighed him down, and often made him feel suffocated. He couldn't simply rest on his laurels, he had to actively fight for the peace he represented. He considered his friends, his allies, his unwavering support system. He knew they would stand by him, help to shoulder the burden, but ultimately, the ultimate responsibility rested on his shoulders. He'd learned that true heroism wasn't just about strength and power, it was about resilience, about the unwavering commitment to fight for what you believed in, even when the odds were stacked against you. It was about accepting the weight of responsibility, bearing that weight with grace and courage, and refusing to yield to the overwhelming pressure. He'd learned that even heroes needed help, that leaning on those who cared for him wasn't a sign of weakness, but of strength. He'd learned that it was okay to ask for help, to confess his fears, to admit his shortcomings. He'd learned that being a hero wasn't about being perfect, it was about striving to be better, about continually pushing himself to overcome obstacles, to overcome his own limitations and the limitations of his power. The sun began its slow ascent, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and orange. As the first rays of dawn touched the training grounds, Deku stood up, his posture straighter, his shoulders squared. The weight of responsibility hadn't disappeared, but it felt a little lighter, more manageable. He had faced the darkness within himself, acknowledged his fears, and accepted the weight of his destiny. He was ready to face whatever the day brought, ready to confront any challenge with a renewed sense of purpose, a reinforced understanding of what it truly meant to be a hero. He wasn't just a symbol of hope anymore, he was the embodiment of resilience, a testament to the power of human spirit, a beacon of light that shone brightly even amidst the darkest storms. He knew that the path ahead was still long and arduous, filled with obstacles and challenges, but he was ready to face them, not alone, but with his friends, his allies, his unwavering source of strength and support, his family. The weight of responsibility was still there, a constant reminder of the gravity of his mission, but he'd found a way to carry it, to integrate it into his being, to transform it from a crushing burden into a motivating force. It was the weight of expectation, yes, but it was also the weight of his convictions, the weight of his promises, the weight of his unwavering commitment to a better world. And as the dawn broke, painting the sky with a new promise of a brighter day, he knew, with unshakable certainty, that he would carry that weight, for himself, for his friends, and for the world he vowed to protect. He would continue to fight for the future, a future he believed in, a future he was determined to create, a future fueled by hope, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The weight of responsibility was a burden, but it was also his strength. The rising sun cast long shadows across the training grounds, painting the dew-kissed grass in hues of gold and amber. Deku, no longer slumped in defeat, stood tall, his silhouette a testament to the internal battle he just waged and won. The weight of the world hadn't vanished, but it felt different now, less like a crushing burden and more like a challenge, a responsibility he was ready to embrace. He had spent the night wrestling with his demons, and dawn had brought with it not just the promise of a new day, but a renewed sense of purpose. He wasn't just carrying the weight of All Might's legacy, he was forging his own path, shaping his own heroism. He was no longer defined solely by the expectations placed upon him, but by his own unwavering commitment to justice, compassion, and the unwavering pursuit of a better tomorrow. The fear still lingered, a low hum beneath the surface, a reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present possibility of failure, but it no longer paralyzed him. It fueled him. It sharpened his focus. He thought of Uraka, her infectious laugh echoing in his memory. He recalled the way her determination shone brighter than any star, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. He knew she, too, carried the weight of responsibility, the burden of protecting those she cared for. Their shared experiences, their mutual struggles, forged a bond stronger than any quirk, a connection that transcended the limitations of individual power. They were a team, a family, and he found strength in that unity, in the knowledge that he wasn't alone in his fight. The image of Ida flashed in his mind, his stoic exterior masking a heart filled with unwavering loyalty and a deep sense of justice. Ida, with his unwavering commitment to the law and his fierce protection of those he held dear, was an inspiration, a testament to the power of unwavering principles in a world riddled with moral ambiguity. His dedication fueled Deku's own commitment to uphold justice, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. And then there was Todoroki, his ice-cold exterior melting slowly, revealing a wounded soul slowly healing. Todoroki's journey of self-discovery, his struggle to reconcile with his past, and his eventual embrace of his own strength reminded Deku that even the most seemingly impenetrable heroes have their vulnerabilities, their struggles, their own demons to overcome. He learned that strength wasn't about the absence of weakness, but the ability to overcome it. He knew he couldn't do it alone. His friends, his allies, his classmates, they were his support system, his family. Their combined strengths, their individual quirks, and their unwavering belief in each other created an unbreakable force, a team capable of facing any challenge, any villain. They would stand by him, support him, and help carry the weight of responsibility. He pictured the faces of those he'd saved, their grateful smiles etched in his memory. It wasn't just about the grand gestures, the spectacular rescues, the dramatic battles against powerful villains. It was about the small acts of kindness, the quiet moments of support, the unwavering commitment to protect the innocent, even in the face of personal risk. It was about embodying hope, even in the darkest of times. He thought of the countless hours of training, the sweat, the tears, the pain, the sacrifices he had made. He'd learned that true strength wasn't just about physical prowess, but about mental resilience, emotional fortitude, and the unwavering commitment to personal growth and self-improvement. He had faced the darkness within himself and emerged stronger, more determined, more resolute than ever before. The future wasn't a blank slate, devoid of challenges or threats. He knew that new villains would emerge, that new crises would arise, that the fight for justice would never truly end. But he also knew that he was ready. He was ready to face whatever the future held, not with the naive optimism of his younger self, but with the tempered wisdom, resilience, and strength forged in the crucible of adversity. He'd learned to rely on his friends, to trust in their abilities, to accept their support. He understood now that asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength, an acknowledgement of the limitations of even the most powerful heroes. It was a testament to his humility, his willingness to learn and grow, his understanding of the interconnectedness of strength and vulnerability. His journey wasn't about becoming the perfect hero, the infallible symbol of peace. It was about striving for excellence, about continually pushing his limits, about constantly evolving and adapting to the ever-changing landscape of heroism. It was about learning from mistakes, embracing failures, and rising stronger from every fall. He wouldn't let the weight of responsibility crush him, he would use it as fuel, as a driving force to propel him forward. He looked towards the horizon, a renewed sense of determination filling him. The rising sun, a beacon of hope, reflected in his eyes. He was ready. Ready to face the future, ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead, ready to continue his fight for justice, for peace, for a better world. He was Deku, and he would never give up. His journey was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. The lessons learned, the battles fought, the sacrifices made, all had shaped him into the hero he was destined to become. He would carry the weight of the world, not as a burden, but as a testament to his strength, his resilience, his unwavering commitment to hope. He would strive to be a symbol not just of power, but of compassion, understanding, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The dawn was breaking, and a new era of heroism was beginning. He was ready. Chapter 15, Epilogue. The years that followed were a tapestry woven with threads of quiet heroism and unexpected joy. The relentless pace of life as a symbol of hope, a beacon against the encroaching darkness, had eased, though the vigilance remained. Deku, now a seasoned pro-hero, found a rhythm in his days that was both fulfilling and surprisingly peaceful. His mornings began not with the frantic rush of a looming crisis, but with the gentle aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the soft chirping of birds outside his apartment window. He'd often find Uraka already awake, her bright smile a comforting presence before the day's challenges even began. Their mornings were filled with easy laughter, shared breakfasts, and quiet moments of connection that grounded him in the everyday reality that often felt a world away from the high-stakes battles he faced. His days weren't empty of action, far from it. He still patrolled the city, his agile movements a blur against the cityscape, his quick wit and enhanced senses anticipating threats before they materialized. He responded to calls, rescued cats from trees, and stopped petty crimes with a grace honed by years of rigorous training and countless battles. But there was a difference. The frantic, all-consuming fear that had once gnawed at him had subsided, replaced by a calm confidence born from experience and the unwavering support of his friends and family. He'd learned to delegate, to trust his colleagues, to accept help when needed. He understood that being a hero wasn't a solitary pursuit, but a collaborative effort, a shared responsibility among a network of dedicated individuals who believed in the same principles. He found solace in mentoring younger heroes, sharing the hard-won wisdom he'd accumulated over the years, guiding them through the treacherous path of heroism, helping them navigate the complexities of morality, the burdens of responsibility, and the ever-present fear of failure. He saw a reflection of his younger self in their eyes, their eagerness to make a difference, their unwavering belief in justice. He found a profound satisfaction in shaping the next generation of heroes, ensuring that the flame of hope burned brightly even when the shadows seemed to lengthen. Evenings often found him on the training grounds, not pushing himself to the brink of exhaustion, but maintaining his fitness, his skills, his edge. These weren't grueling workouts designed to break him, they were exercises in maintaining his physical and mental sharpness, a way to honor the rigorous discipline he'd embraced in his formative years. These sessions were often punctuated by friendly sparring matches with his closest friends, a joyful blending of camaraderie and competition, a testament to the enduring bonds forged in the fires of shared adversity. Weekends were reserved for quieter pursuits. He'd spend hours lost in the peaceful serenity of a botanical garden, the vibrant colors of exotic flowers a soothing balm to his weary soul. He'd often find Uraka there with him, her laughter echoing through the tranquil setting, a gentle melody against the backdrop of rustling leaves and chirping crickets. They'd walk hand in hand, enjoying the simple pleasure of each other's company, a stark contrast to the adrenaline-fueled chaos of their professional lives. They'd talk, not of villains or battles, but of dreams, of aspirations, of the future they were building together, a future that extended beyond the boundaries of heroism and into the realm of quiet domesticity. He'd visit Ida regularly, the unwavering commitment to justice still etched onto his friend's face, though now softened by the weight of responsibility and the subtle joys of a life lived with purpose. They'd discuss current events, the state of the city, and the challenges facing their society, engaging in thoughtful conversations that transcended the limitations of their superhero identities. These discussions were less about action and more about reflection, about understanding the intricate complexities of the world and the role they played in shaping its future. His visits to Todoroki were filled with a different kind of peace. The ice-cold exterior had long since melted, replaced by a warmth that emanated from a soul finally at peace with itself. Their conversations were marked by a comfortable silence, a shared understanding born from years of mutual struggle and shared victories. They'd often find themselves side by side, simply enjoying the quiet comfort of each other's presence, a testament to the profound bond formed through shared adversity. He'd also make time for his family, the warmth of their love a constant source of strength and grounding. He understood now the importance of these relationships, the necessity of human connection in balancing the weight of his heroic responsibilities. The laughter of children, the comforting presence of his parents, the quiet moments of family togetherness, these were the anchors that kept him grounded in a world that could often feel chaotic and unstable. He hadn't forgotten the battles, the sacrifices, the losses. The scars, both physical and emotional, were reminders of the price of heroism, testaments to the fragility of life and the ever-present possibility of failure. But these weren't burdens, they were badges of honor, symbols of the trials overcome, the lessons learned, the victories won. They were a testament to his growth, his resilience, his unwavering commitment to hope. He continued to evolve, to adapt, to learn. He knew that the fight for justice was a never-ending journey, a continuous struggle against the darkness that lurked in the corners of the world. New villains would emerge, new crises would arise, but he was ready. He was ready not only with his enhanced strength and quick reflexes, but with the wisdom gained through experience, the unwavering support of his friends and family, and the unwavering belief in the power of hope. He was prepared to face whatever the future held, confident in his abilities, his friends, and his own unwavering commitment to justice. His life wasn't just about spectacular rescues and dramatic battles. It was about the small acts of kindness, the quiet moments of support, the unwavering commitment to protecting the innocent, even in the face of personal risk. It was about embodying hope, even in the darkest of times. It was about the simple joys of life, a quiet morning coffee, a shared laughter with loved ones, the tranquility of a botanical garden, the comforting weight of family, and the quiet satisfaction of a job well done. He was Deku, and this was his peace, his fulfillment, his heroism, his life. And it was beautiful. The rising sun continued to cast its golden light, a symbol of hope and the promise of a new day, reflecting not just in his eyes, but in the peaceful serenity that had finally settled within his heart. His journey was far from over, but he was finally at peace, ready to face whatever lay ahead, not with fear, but with a quiet confidence and an unwavering commitment to the enduring strength of the human spirit. The dawn was breaking, and a new era, a new peace, had begun. The quiet hum of the city faded into a gentle background murmur as Deku sat on his balcony, a steaming mug of chamomile tea warming his hands. The sprawling cityscape, a canvas of twinkling lights against the inky black sky, offered a breathtaking panorama. He often found solace in these moments, the quiet solitude a stark contrast to the frenetic energy of his daily life as a pro-hero. Tonight, however, a different kind of peace settled over him, a sense of profound contentment born from reflection and the subtle whisper of memories. His thoughts drifted back to a conversation he'd had with Ida a few weeks prior. They had been discussing the ever-evolving landscape of heroism, the challenges of balancing personal life with the demanding responsibility of protecting the innocent. Ida, as always, had been meticulously logical, outlining strategies and proposing solutions with his characteristic precision. But then, a softer note had crept into his voice, a hint of something deeper, something beyond the realm of strategic planning. He had spoken of the importance of friendship, of the unwavering support that comes from those who understand your burdens, those who share your struggles. That conversation had sparked a chain of reflections, leading Deku to consider the depth and breadth of the friendships he had forged throughout his life. The bonds formed in the crucible of adversity, the connections forged in the face of insurmountable odds, these were the anchors that kept him tethered to the shore of sanity amidst the turbulent seas of his heroic career. And among those friendships, one stood out, a beacon of enduring understanding that resonated across the vast expanse of time and space. It was a friendship that had begun, surprisingly, with a shared love for a particular vintage of galactic space opera. A chance encounter with Anakin Skywalker, a Jedi Knight from a faraway galaxy, had led to an unlikely but profound bond. Their conversations had ranged from the intricacies of lightsaber combat to the complexities of maintaining hope in the face of overwhelming darkness. They had discovered a shared understanding, an empathy that transcended the boundaries of different worlds and vastly different circumstances. Anakin, much like Deku himself, had grappled with the immense weight of responsibility, the ever-present threat of failure, the crushing burden of expectation. The struggles of maintaining hope against overwhelming odds, the moral dilemmas that tested the very core of their beings, these were shared experiences that created an unbreakable bond. They had found solace in each other's company, a refuge from the pressures of their respective worlds. Their conversations had transcended the mundane, diving into the philosophical depths of good versus evil, the nature of sacrifice, and the importance of unwavering commitment to justice. The years that followed their initial encounter had been punctuated by infrequent but meaningful connections. A brief message here, a cryptic communication there, brief glimmers of connection across the immeasurable distances of space. These were subtle affirmations of their enduring bond, testaments to the understanding that transcended physical limitations. These subtle exchanges were not just casual conversations, they were vital exchanges of support and shared understanding. Sometimes, a simple, shared understanding was more powerful than any grand gesture. Anakin's struggles, his internal conflicts, the agonizing choices he'd been forced to make, Deku understood them intimately. He had walked a similar path, facing his own demons, battling his own inner turmoil. The burdens of heroism, the weight of expectation, the fear of failure, these were universal struggles, experienced by heroes across time and space. Their shared experiences fostered an empathy that went beyond simple friendship, it was a bond of kinship, a recognition of shared struggles and triumphs. They understood the fine line between light and darkness, the ease with which one could slip into the shadows. Deku remembered one particular communication, a brief message relayed through a network of ancient, almost mythical, technology. Anakin had described a particularly harrowing battle, a fight against a seemingly insurmountable foe. He had described the fear, the doubt, the overwhelming sense of despair that had threatened to consume him. But he'd also described the flicker of hope that had ignited within him, a flame that refused to be extinguished, even in the darkest depths of the conflict. That message had resonated deeply within Deku. It was a reflection of his own experiences, a shared narrative of perseverance and resilience. He'd replied with a message of his own, recounting a similar experience, a battle where he had faced overwhelming odds, where hope seemed to be a distant star in a bleak, dark night. He'd described the unwavering support he'd received from his friends, the strength he'd found in their shared commitment to justice. Their infrequent communications were punctuated by a silent understanding. They didn't need lengthy explanations or detailed recaps, a single word, a concise sentence, often conveyed volumes of shared understanding. It was a testament to the depth of their friendship, a bond forged not in constant interaction, but in a profound understanding of each other's souls. The friendship transcended the physical limitations of distance and time, a beacon of hope in the face of adversity. It was a reminder that true connections can endure, that shared struggles can forge unbreakable bonds, and that even across the vast expanse of the cosmos, the human spirit finds kinship in shared experience and mutual support. It was a quiet understanding, a silent affirmation of their shared humanity, a testament to the enduring power of friendship. And it filled Deku's heart with a quiet satisfaction, an understanding that the bonds he had made were not just earthly, but cosmic in their scope and significance. The city lights continued to shimmer, their distant brilliance reflecting the unspoken, enduring friendship that connected him to a galaxy far, far away. It was a reminder that heroism wasn't confined to a single world or a single timeline, but existed in the hearts of individuals who chose to fight for what they believed in, no matter the odds, no matter the cost. As the night deepened and the city lights softened, Deku felt the comforting weight of those connections, a warm embrace of understanding that spanned universes. He smiled, a contented sigh escaping his lips, as he finally drifted off to sleep, cradling the enduring warmth of friendship in his heart. The dawn of a new day would bring new challenges, but he would face them not alone, but fortified by the silent, enduring power of friendship that stretched across galaxies and through time. The sunrise painted the sky in hues of apricot and rose, casting a warm glow over the city that Deku had sworn to protect. He awoke with a quiet sense of fulfillment, the lingering warmth of his dreams still nestled in his heart. The memory of Anakin, his unlikely friend across the vast expanse of space and time, brought a smile to his lips. Their connection, forged in shared struggles and mutual understanding, was a source of unwavering strength, a reminder that heroism was not a solitary endeavor. News reports that morning detailed the ripple effect of Deku's actions. A young aspiring hero in a remote village, inspired by Deku's unwavering courage, had single-handedly rescued a group of children from a collapsing building. The news footage showed the young hero, tears streaming down his face, mirroring the emotions of Deku's own early days, a testament to the power of inspiration and the contagious nature of hope. Deku watched, a lump forming in his throat, realizing the profound impact his journey had on others. It wasn't just about saving lives, it was about igniting a flame of hope in the hearts of those who felt lost and powerless. His phone buzzed, a notification from the UA High School. It was an invitation to speak to the graduating class, a chance to share his experiences and impart wisdom gleaned from years of battling villains and confronting his own inner demons. He accepted immediately. He understood the weight of his words, the power of his story to shape the future generation of heroes. He wasn't just Deku, the symbol of peace, he was a beacon, a living embodiment of the hope he sought to instill in others. The auditorium was packed, filled with the eager faces of young, aspiring heroes. The air buzzed with anticipation, a palpable energy that resonated with Deku's own youthful aspirations. He began his speech not with grand pronouncements or heroic declarations, but with a simple, heartfelt anecdote, a memory of his own insecurities and doubts, his early struggles against overwhelming odds. He spoke of his unwavering determination, the support of his friends, and the unwavering belief in the power of hope even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. He recounted his first encounter with All Might, his initial despair, his crippling self-doubt, and the gradual awakening of his own inner strength. He spoke about the countless battles, the agonizing losses, the moments where hope seemed to flicker and die, only to be rekindled by the unwavering support of his friends and mentors. He didn't shy away from the darkness, from the moments of fear and vulnerability. Instead, he embraced those moments, acknowledging them as integral parts of his journey, as the very stones that had paved his path to heroism. He described his unlikely friendship with Anakin Skywalker, not as a fantastical tale but as a powerful metaphor for the universal human experience. He spoke of their shared struggles, their shared hopes, and the profound understanding that transcended the boundaries of different worlds and different times. Their conversations, though infrequent, had provided solace, perspective, and a constant reminder that the human spirit could endure, even against insurmountable odds. He emphasized that heroism wasn't just about physical strength or special powers, it was about unwavering determination, compassion, and a belief in the power of hope. He spoke of the importance of perseverance, the need to rise after every fall, to learn from mistakes, and to never give up on one's dreams. He spoke of the value of friendship, the crucial role of unwavering support, and the power of shared experiences in shaping one's character and strengthening one's resolve. He didn't offer easy answers or simplistic solutions. He spoke of the complex moral dilemmas, the agonizing choices, and the internal battles that were an inherent part of a hero's journey. He concluded his speech not with a triumphant declaration, but with a quiet, heartfelt message. He spoke of the responsibility that came with the title of hero, the importance of humility, empathy, and selflessness. He stressed the need to strive for continuous self-improvement, to always seek to learn and grow, and to never lose sight of the human element in the fight for justice. His words resonated with the audience, a powerful echo of hope and inspiration that filled the auditorium. The students erupted in thunderous applause, their faces radiant with a newfound determination. As Deku left the auditorium, he was surrounded by students, their eyes shining with admiration and newfound resolve. Many shared their own stories of overcoming obstacles, their own experiences of facing adversity, and their own struggles to find their place in the world. Each interaction reaffirmed the profound impact his words had had, a testament to the power of shared experiences and the ripple effect of hope. The following weeks were filled with a whirlwind of activities. Deku continued his heroic duties, always mindful of the weight of his legacy. He spent time mentoring young heroes, sharing his knowledge and experience, guiding them through the challenging path of heroism. He engaged in public appearances, utilizing his platform to promote peace, understanding, and social justice. He even found time to connect with Anakin again, sharing his experiences from the speech and discussing the ongoing struggle for justice in their respective worlds. His life wasn't just about saving people, it was about inspiring them, about empowering them to become heroes in their own right. He understood the cyclical nature of hope, the way it spread from person to person, fueling acts of courage and selflessness. His legacy wasn't just about the battles he fought or the villains he defeated, it was about the countless lives he touched, the countless hearts he inspired, the countless acts of heroism he ignited in others. He was a catalyst, a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed shrouded in darkness. Years later, Deku would look back on this period of his life not as a chapter concluded, but as a foundation laid. The city he protected had grown, its citizens more resilient, its heroes more numerous, their spirits fueled by the legacy of hope he had instilled. He continued his work, not as a solitary hero, but as a mentor, an inspiration, a symbol of the enduring human spirit, forever bound to the cosmos, and forever linked to the silent yet powerful bond of friendship that spanned galaxies and time. His legacy was a living testament to the unwavering power of hope, a beacon shining brightly in the endless expanse of the universe, proving that even across the vastness of space and the passage of time, the human spirit could prevail. The story of Deku, the symbol of peace, was not just a tale of heroic deeds, but an enduring testament to the power of hope itself. And as the sun set on yet another day, he felt the comforting weight of this legacy, a quiet satisfaction born from the knowledge that his actions had rippled across time and space, igniting hope in the hearts of millions. The legacy of hope lived on, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. The years that followed were a blur of activity, a whirlwind of heroic interventions and quiet moments of reflection. Deku, no longer just the symbol of peace, but a living legend, continued to protect his city, his actions now less about individual acts of incredible strength and more about the strategic deployment of a vast network of heroes he had helped cultivate. The young heroes he had mentored during his post-UA years had blossomed into capable individuals, each carrying a spark of his unwavering hope and determination. They worked together, a collaborative force for good that reached far beyond the city limits. One evening, while reviewing a report on a newly emerging threat, a shadowy organization using advanced technology to manipulate minds, a familiar chime echoed from his communicator. It was Anakin. The connection, always tenuous across the vast gulf of time and space, was stronger now, almost as if the shared burden of protecting their respective worlds had woven a tighter thread between them. Deku, Anakin's voice crackled through the communicator, a hint of urgency in his tone. We've encountered a new challenge. A force. Unlike anything we've faced before. The conversation that followed was cryptic, filled with allusions to ancient prophecies and technological advancements that defied even Anakin's advanced understanding. He spoke of a disturbance in the Force, a ripple that extended across galaxies, hinting at a power so vast and ancient it threatened the very fabric of reality. Deku listened intently, his own keen intellect grappling with the implications of what he heard. The revelation spurred Deku into action. He immediately convened a meeting with his inner circle, his closest friends and most trusted allies among the newly formed generation of heroes. He shared the information relayed by Anakin, his voice conveying both the weight of the impending danger and the unwavering resolve to face it. The ensuing discussions were long and intense, filled with strategic planning, risk assessments, and the sobering reality of facing an enemy whose nature was so completely unknown. The ensuing year saw Deku and his team embark on a series of extraordinary missions, each one pushing their limits and challenging their understanding of heroism. They investigated ancient ruins, unearthed long-forgotten technologies, and confronted powerful entities that defied easy categorization. Their journeys took them across continents and, in a few incredibly secretive missions, even into the fringes of space, closer to Anakin's world than ever before. One mission involved a daring infiltration of a hidden fortress belonging to the shadowy organization. The fortress was a marvel of futuristic engineering, layered with complex security systems and guarded by highly advanced robots. Deku, using his unparalleled quick thinking and the enhanced abilities he had honed over the years, led his team through a series of perilous challenges. They utilized a combination of brute force, stealth, and strategic thinking, showcasing the diverse skills that had become the hallmark of the new generation of heroes he'd helped train. Another adventure took them to a remote island shrouded in mystical energy, where they uncovered a powerful artifact, a relic from an ancient civilization that possessed the potential to either save or destroy the world. Their exploration revealed not only the artifact but a deeper understanding of the organization's plans to harness the artifact's power for their own nefarious purposes, plunging the world into chaos. This adventure saw them working closely with mystical beings, guardians of the island and its secrets, who taught them the importance of balancing power with wisdom, a lesson that resonated deeply with Deku's own experiences. Throughout their numerous missions, Deku remained a constant source of inspiration and guidance. His unwavering belief in the power of hope, even in the darkest of moments, was a beacon for his team. He instilled in them the importance of empathy, understanding, and the necessity of always seeking justice, even when the path was fraught with peril. His own personal growth was evident, showcasing a maturity that had developed through years of hardship and unwavering determination. He'd learned to delegate, to trust in the abilities of others, recognizing that true heroism wasn't about single-handed victories but about collaborative triumphs. In between the high-stakes missions, Deku found time to reconnect with the ordinary lives he held dear. He visited his family, finding solace in their unwavering love and support. He spent time with his friends, sharing quiet moments of laughter and camaraderie that helped ground him amidst the chaos. He even managed to maintain a sporadic, yet deeply meaningful, connection with Anakin, their conversations now more philosophical, less about immediate crises and more about the enduring nature of hope and the cyclical nature of conflict. These moments reminded him of the importance of balance, of cherishing the quiet moments amidst the storm. His relationship with Ochako had deepened over the years, their bond strengthened by mutual respect, unwavering support, and a shared commitment to building a better world. They represented a symbol of peace and stability within the turbulent landscape of their lives, a testament to the enduring power of love and understanding amidst extraordinary challenges. Their relationship was a quiet refuge, a reminder that amidst the chaos, there were still moments of normalcy, of love, and of quiet happiness. Years later, as Deku stood on a mountain overlooking the city he had sworn to protect, a city now brimming with hope and resilience, he gazed at the horizon. The city wasn't just a physical space, it was a living testament to the power of hope, a legacy born from countless acts of courage and selflessness. He knew that new challenges would inevitably arise, new threats would emerge. But he also knew that the future was in capable hands, a generation of heroes trained in his ideals, fueled by his unwavering belief in the power of hope, ready to face whatever came next. He was not just the symbol of peace, he was the architect of a future that continued to evolve, shaped by the enduring legacy of hope that he had helped forge. The sun set, painting the sky with colors that mirrored the countless battles fought and the countless victories won, a vibrant and hopeful canvas of a future yet unwritten. His journey wasn't over, but it had reached a new, exciting phase, a phase where the future felt full of possibility, full of hope, and full of the promise of new adventures. The legacy lived on, not just in the city he protected, but in the hearts and minds of countless heroes, across the galaxy, and beyond. The crimson sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the sprawling cityscape. From his vantage point atop Mount Fuyuki, Deku could see the city lights twinkling like a constellation of hope, a testament to the resilience and unwavering spirit of its inhabitants. He wasn't just looking at buildings and streets, he was seeing the embodiment of a dream he'd tirelessly worked to cultivate, a future where hope reigned supreme, even in the face of insurmountable odds. The years had been relentless, a relentless cycle of challenges and triumphs, of victories hard won and losses deeply felt. Each scar, both physical and emotional, served as a stark reminder of the price of peace. But the scars, he realized, were not symbols of defeat, but rather, intricate etchings of resilience, each line a testament to the indomitable human spirit. He thought of the countless battles fought, the sacrifices made, the lives touched, some saved, some tragically lost. The memory of All Might's sacrifice, a memory that had once filled him with despair, now served as a catalyst, a constant reminder of the power of selfless devotion. It was a beacon illuminating the path toward a future where such sacrifices would hopefully become less frequent, where the price of peace would become lighter, not non-existent, but perhaps more manageable. His thoughts drifted to Anakin, his unlikely ally across the gulf of space and time. Their conversations, once filled with the urgency of immediate crises, had evolved into profound philosophical dialogues about the nature of hope, the cyclical nature of conflict, and the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. Anakin's wisdom, honed through millennia of galactic struggles, had been a source of both comfort and inspiration. They had found common ground in their shared burden, the relentless weight of protecting their respective worlds, understanding the ever-present threat of darkness lurking around every corner. Their bond had transcended galaxies, a testament to the universality of hope and the human need for connection, even amidst chaos. He recalled a conversation with Anakin, one that stood out amidst their numerous exchanges. Anakin had spoken of the Force, not as a mystical entity, but as a reflection of the collective will of beings across the galaxy. Hope, Anakin had argued, wasn't just a feeling, but a tangible force, capable of shaping destinies and defying odds. It was the unwavering belief in a better future, the steadfast commitment to fight for what was right, even when despair threatened to consume everything. Deku remembered his own journey, his transformation from a powerless, bullied outcast to the symbol of peace, a journey built on unwavering determination and an unshakable belief in himself. He had faced his own personal demons, confronted his own limitations, and emerged stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. His growth hadn't been linear, it had been a chaotic, often painful process, but it was a process that ultimately shaped him into the hero he was destined to be. He smiled, thinking of Ochako, his unwavering love and support system. Their relationship, a testament to the power of mutual respect and unwavering devotion, served as a constant source of strength and solace. Their love story was not a fairy tale romance, it was a story of shared burdens, unwavering commitment, and quiet moments of intimacy amidst the storms of life. It was a reminder that even amid the grand scale of galactic conflicts and global crises, the simple joys of human connection could provide a harbor against the chaos. He thought of his friends, his mentors, the countless young heroes he'd trained, all bound together by a shared commitment to justice, a shared belief in the power of hope. Each individual, a testament to the ripple effect of one person's unwavering belief in something greater than themselves. Their actions, their sacrifices, their triumphs, had all woven together to create a tapestry of hope that extended beyond the city limits, reaching across continents and even into the far reaches of space. His gaze drifted back to the city, the lights still twinkling brightly. He knew the fight wasn't over. New challenges would undoubtedly emerge, new threats would appear, the cycle of conflict seemingly inevitable. But he wasn't worried. He had seen the power of hope in action, not just in himself, but in the countless heroes who shared his ideals. They were the inheritors of his legacy, the guardians of the future. They carried the torch of hope, ready to confront whatever the future might hold, their hearts filled with the same unwavering determination that had guided him through his journey. The enduring power of hope, Deku realized, wasn't just about avoiding darkness, it was about facing it head on, about refusing to succumb to despair, about finding strength in the face of adversity. It was about inspiring others to do the same. It wasn't about avoiding conflict, it was about finding the courage to engage in it, to fight for what's right, to strive for a better future. It was about believing in the inherent goodness within each individual, the capacity for change, and the potential for growth. It was about recognizing that even the smallest act of kindness could create a ripple effect, spreading hope and inspiring others to act. The legacy he had helped create wasn't just about individual acts of heroism, it was about the collective power of hope, a force capable of overcoming any obstacle, any challenge, any darkness. It was about the collective understanding of the importance of community, of working together toward a common goal, of embracing diversity, and celebrating the unique strengths that each individual could bring to the table. It was the embodiment of a future where collaboration, not isolation, was the key to overcoming any adversity. As the last vestiges of sunlight faded into the twilight, Deku felt a sense of profound peace. His journey was far from over, but he felt a sense of quiet accomplishment. He had faced adversity, he had overcome challenges, he had inspired countless others. He had planted seeds of hope, and now, he knew, those seeds would blossom into a future brighter than he could have ever imagined. The city below, the galaxy beyond, and the countless heroes across time and space, they were all connected by an invisible thread of hope, a testament to the enduring power of a single unwavering belief. The journey had been long, but the destination, a future built on hope, felt closer than ever before. The legacy lived on, not just in a city, but in the hearts of people across time and space, a shared beacon illuminating the path towards a brighter tomorrow.